that change is coming.
We about to turn up. Spider, me Shaq. We about to give them that.
Peace, love, and lights. Peace, love, and lights. Peace, love, and lights. Peace, love, and lights. We gonna bless the trap with this peace, love, and lights. We gonna bless our people with this peace, love, and lights. Yes, change your life. Open your eyes. Do it fast. Don't be surprised. What this world is going through right now is getting evil. Gotta come together so we can fly like an eagle. Killing the snakes, let go of this fake system. Love is the key, stop living your life as a victim. Been blessed with everything that we need, take action, sick 'em. If you want peace, put down your peace, that's how we fix 'em. We in the book, not leaning on our own understanding. We getting hot, can't cool us down, no need for fanning. Been getting stepped on so long, we feeling like shoe soles. But as long as I got the body, I roll with true souls. Ain't nothing sweet, no need to check your glucose. When two or more come together, we see the loopholes. Time to rise and stick together like two doves. I follow Christ, if you hating, then who do you trust?
Set apart from the set apart. Cost of sin is death, you can get it a la carte. We all about shalom, we be all about our peace. We don't get down with the drama, all I gotta see.
It's all about peace and love, give praise to the one above. No need to hate the one, been there since you begun. You walk with the righteous, we learn they trying to fight us. They hands hurt like arthritis, they panic through the crisis. But we know the outcome, man, is really tragic. We want peace, they shoo it away like they allergic. They have dirty little lies, we clean them like detergent. We keep the peace in line like we the master sergeant. I want peace, so I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm the bride to the father, bringing the ring pallbearer. I've been called, so I'm living with peace in my heart. You can get it a la carte, boy, we set apart. Peace, love, and happiness is what the Christ brings. I'm a peacock, just let me open up my wings. That's a funny bar, cause peacocks can't fly, but I can be funny, I got peace from the Most High.
Set apart from the set apart. Cost of sin is death, you can get it a la carte. We all about shalom, we be all about our peace. We don't get down with the drama, all I gotta see.
I be on another wave, I be pushing positivity, no negative vibrations. I be on another frequency, don't care about a bad, we be giving them the proof. Tryna wake up all my people when we hit them with the truth. Carnal thinking got them bound, but we tryna let them loose. They be wanting you to hang, propaganda like a news. Brothers killing other brothers, can't nobody get along. Tryna bring us all together with the lyrics to this song. But what really is shalom? Let me give y'all all some clarity. It's peace, happiness, and joy, welfare and prosperity. We focused on intentions, only good vibes. This for strangers who sojourn in them 12 tribes. We gonna illuminate with love, spreading light through affirmation. Tap into the God within, like push button activation. Take control of your emotions, even when they do you wrong. Just stay focused on the Father and then hit them with shalom.
Peace, love, and lights. Peace, love, and lights. Peace, love, and lights.
Stay one with the Father.
We gonna bless the trap with this peace, love, and lights. We gonna bless our people with this peace, love, and lights.
Peace.
Yes.
Praise
Too many, trying to win, too many lost.
It's like a championship game, and you win it, and they ask you, how do you feel? Did you feel you? Yeah, I came in with my game plan, and I expected my game plan to work.
I'm dropping these philosophies that y'all should try adopting. Running from the law, no, running from the law, but you cross me.
Snakes in the grass, learn how to move when they rattle. Too many losses, be a light and you can prove it's a shadow.
When I pull up, right on time, come outside, I ain't your man, that's true enough.
Oh, hey. Ooh, I'ma dive off the deep end,
Ain't nothing but an Eastside party. Eastside!
goes to the men who deserve it. Those who had past trauma but still work hard, you are worthy. Who struggle with some trust but hearts of gold towards the public. Who fail pushing to succeed, feels helpless and it's on repeat. I know it's tough, those carrying seeds. Your pain is deep, swept under the rug. Close to you, never was. I understand, you know that I do. You've been hurt in more ways than people know, more than people know. It's time to let go. Let go of all those things that's been weighing you down. Can't get on with your life 'cause you're mentally drowned. It's time to let go. Let go. This goes to all of the women, those who deserve it too, have been mistreated, controlled and abused. It's hard for you to go forward, and you know that's true. It's starting to affect your journey. It's hard for you to be you. Close to you. That's been weighing you down. No more holding it. Can't get on with your life 'cause you're mentally drowned. It's time to let go. It's time to let go. It's time to let go. Let go. I know it seems easier said than done. But baby you got so much to overcome. I know it seems easier said than done. But baby you got this you can overcome. It's time to let go. Let go of all those things that's been weighing you down. Can't get on with your life 'cause you're mentally drowned.
Shabbat Shalom, family. It's your boy Solemn Prophet here. It's time to let go of all of that heartache, man. Fall into the lap of the Most High, your Holy Father. This is Shabbat Talk, and today this is the segment is Righteous Reactions. For those of you guys who don't know what Righteous Reactions is, it is a segment where we basically watch different types of video clips that you find YouTube, TikTok, whatever the case may be. They cover any type of topic, but what we do is we watch it and we react to it, but we react to it from a biblical perspective, right? And so we watch the video, we react to it, we discuss it, and then we go to the next one. It's light, it's really fun, right? It's just kind of one of those situations where you come from trivia night and everybody's grinding and they trying to win, and then you come in from back to back biblical lessons, right, where it's deep, in depth. You're going into translations, you're going into all of these different esoteric things and all of this. This is where you can breathe a little bit, right? But it's still good discussion, good edification. Professor S will probably be tuning in on YouTube today, but I definitely want to give him a shout out. My A1 Day One, my co-host. This is Solemn Prophet and Professor S for Shabbat Talk. So definitely want to do that. But getting into everything, we kick everything off with giving the Most High his praise, give him his credit. All praises to the Most High. Without him, we wouldn't have this platform. We wouldn't have the information that we have to share with you guys. there would be no Truth Talk Radio. There would be no Silent Prophet. There would be nothing, right? He woke us up, on this amazing and wonderful Shabbat. I hope you guys had an amazing Shabbat. Hope you had an amazing week, right? But I hope that your Shabbat was awesome. Hope you guys got your reading in. I hope you guys got time to, just pray and commune with the Father, right? But definitely want to give him his props. All praises to the Most High. Now for the shout outs, the first was who was in the first, the first person that was in the YouTube chat was Sister Cindy. So Shabbat Shalom. And then Sister Cindy and Sister Tess were the first ones on the panel that tuned in. So Shabbat Shalom to Sister Cindy and Shabbat Shalom to Sister Tess.
Shabbat Shalom. Love you so much, Ak.
Shabbat Shalom. Love you and everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Next up, we got Sister Ava, Brother Sean. They was next in the YouTube chat. Shabbat Shalom to you guys. Hope you guys had an amazing week. And then Shabbat Shalom to Sister Champion. No, I'm just kidding. Sister Kaylee, who is the champion, the most recent and current champion of Trivia Night.
Shabbat Shalom, y'all.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. We still got to get together so I can get your question before next week Trivia Night.
I gotcha. Because on some of them, I have one that can be like a multiple choice and a true false, but I'm trying to word it in a way that it sounds good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounded like you want to word it tricky.
Okay. No, I thought about that and I was like, no, I gotta do something easy. But then I was like, no, but it has to sound good too. But Sister Ava was in the back of my mind. I'm like, she's gonna get me if I pull out a hard one.
You traitor. You know how tricky them questions be, and you're gonna get in that position to do the same thing. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I can't speak for Sister Ava, but now she gonna pop. She gonna pop up in the panel. Mute her mic. Come for my head. Let me leave her alone. But Shabbat Shalom, Sister Kaylee. Glad you could make it. Shabbat Shalom to Brother Greg in the building.
Shabbat Shalom, my brother, and to the family. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to my beautiful wife.
Hi.
It's Sister Wisdom right there.
Yes, that's my nickname.
Stop.
All right. So as other people come in, or as I see them pop up into the YouTube, if you're on YouTube and you would like a shout out, just drop a comment and say Shabbat Shalom, and I will give you a shout out. But yeah, so this week, let's kick it on off with the scripture readings. And so we have different scripture readings each and every week, right? Let me share my screen so you guys can see. Right, so we are currently in week 4. And then obviously next week is week 5. That's why it's highlighted. But if you need this, let me know. I can send it to you if you want to join us with our weekly scripture readings, right? Once we finish this and we get to the end, right, we are going to jump back to the Torah readings, to the Torah portions. Since we started the last Torah portion extremely early, we finished slightly late. So it didn't make sense to try to start another Torah portion because then we were going to be off. We're going to continue to be off. So what we did is we did a shortened weekly scripture reading to finish out the rest of this biblical year, and then come Feast of Tabernacles. And come Feast of Tabernacles, we're going to get back to the Torah portion and start it off at the right time when we're supposed to get it started off. But this week, We got Joshua chapter 4, verses 8 through 21, Proverbs chapter 3, verses 6 to 25, and Psalms chapters 14 through 17. That's 14, 15, 16, and 17. Well, without further ado, we coming with the brother who always bring it true, Mr. Icebreaker, aka Brother Greg.
No, I gotta come with a nickname now. Yes, Icebreaker is my name. Okay, so yeah, I'll just cover two.
Well, it is. Look, this already know.
Icebreaker, let's go. Yep. So I'll just cover 2 points. I guess Proverbs 3. What is it? 3:25. It's the first one, and it says, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. So for me, that was a strong one, because I know that's what Satan loves to do, is, control him by fear is just a huge thing that is used in our world, period. Like modern and before, especially when it's C-19 stuff happened, that was a big fear push to control people, and people get scared or threatened with stuff, especially when it comes to like work and livelihoods. That's a form of control as well. So it's like, don't, let fear control you. And, it's like also in, what is it in, Second Timothy, it says, for Elohim have not given us spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. So that just relates to that, to where whenever fear, because, obviously we're all human, we're all going to have it, even though we know that it doesn't come from Yah. But when it comes, just knowing that it's not from him, and overcoming it, and, send it, just rebuke it and cast it out. But yeah, that was, I guess, just the first point, is that the fear piece is used to control a lot.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And in all aspects, you're looking at not only governmental, right? Like you already covered, the pandemic. And then you also have religiously, right? They create these doctrines and all of these different things just to control. Because whoever's in control is the one in power, and whoever's in power is the one who is literally doing whatever they want to do at the expense of everybody else.
Exactly.
Right. So definitely great point. Great point.
And then the second one I'll just go over it and I'll be done, is Psalms 14 verse 1, where it just speaks about like the fool that said in his heart, there is no like Elohim or no God, and they are corrupt, and they have done abominable works, and there's none that do it good. And I see that all the time with a lot of people that's like atheists, or they just say they don't believe. Is typically because, from my experience, like a lot of people, what I've noticed is that they don't want to acknowledge that they are sinners and they deserve death. Like that's the piece that is uncomfortable for a lot of people to acknowledge. They have excuses for their sins, so they seek out pagan religions that make them feel good, that it's okay, they could do whatever they want, do as thou wilt, like in the Satan book. And so yeah, it's like when they say there's no Yah or no Elohim, is because they've done evil and they don't want to acknowledge it and repent for it, and they want to just keep doing it. So that one stood out to me too.
Absolutely. That one stood out to me as I was reading it too, but I was like, somebody definitely gonna mention that. I'm gonna pick something that's little,
I know, like Proverbs and Psalms, it's like so much. Like you could pick like any proverb and Psalm, because it's so good. There's so many of them. And but yeah, those are mine that I just threw out there.
Great point. Actually, that kind of connects to the Bible lesson that I have with my kids for Shabbat. So we were diving into Paul, getting them to understand who he was, what he did, and just the true essence of what his ministry was, right? Not the essence of what religion says his ministry was, but what his ministry actually was. And it's funny how my youngest is 8, my daughter's 13. My 8-year-old can understand Paul, right? Obviously, I have to explain it to him, right? But once I explain it to him and he's seeing it in the scriptures and they're going over it, he understands Paul. My 8-year-old can understand Paul. So I'm wondering how billions of people can't understand Paul. I get that there could be some maneuvering, right? You gotta read it with certain eyes, but it's right there in the scripture. Romans 7, verse 1. Paul says he speaks to those who know the law. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 15 and 16, right? He says that he understands Paul. Paul's on his side. He's a beloved brother, and he's talking about Messiah. But in his epistles, his letters that he's writing, there's some things hard to be understood from those who are unlearned, people who don't know the law. Going right back to what Paul said in Romans 7, verse 1, right? So even from that perspective, it's not difficult to understand Paul and what he's talking about. However, it's difficult for someone who already has it made up in their minds and in their hearts that they want to be rebellious. And so it's hard to accept something that's, speaking against whatever your lifestyle is. You get what I'm saying? It's hard to do that. Now, sometimes people just don't know. They've never heard Paul explain this way or taught this way. But for a lot of people, even if they have heard it, they just reject it for the most part. And it's similar to like the whole atheist piece, where they, like you say, in the scripture, in verse 1 of Psalm 14, right? The fool hath said in his heart, there is no Elohim, right? Same thing. If you are an atheist and you believe wholeheartedly that there's no creator, that there's no, greater power, right? You are like deeply ingrained in your own personal belief, and you have faith in that. You are literally religious. Believe it or not, you are. It takes an immense amount of faith to believe that there is nothing.
That nothing created everything.
That there's only science. There's only science, and we were created from this big bang, this big explosion, and we all began the creation of life with molecules that came from the explosion and began to multiply. Oh, come on now.
Yeah, the little tadpoles crawling out of slime or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's just right there. It's just right there.
Yeah, I have several coworkers that claim to be like atheists, and I already had my fair share of debates with them. But like one thing that is very what's the word, like what I'm trying to say is they all have this in common, is that they don't really have consideration of others. Like one is a bartender, and his mouth is just woo. Like some of the things that he says, it doesn't matter what type of like what type of person is sitting in front of them, what their ethnicity is. They say all types of like racist, like stereotypical, rude jokes. And I remember there being a verse in the Bible, I gotta go back and find it, but it was basically speaking against like that type of humor. I can't remember the word that it used, but I gotta go back and look. But that's one thing that's the same. They don't really have any consideration towards anybody. Like they just always put themselves first.
Sister, it was I was just looking at like last week, I think it was James 3:6 that I'm talking about, like the tongue is fire in the world of iniquity. So the tongue is among our members. That might be the one you're thinking of, maybe not, but I know James 3:6. I was actually looking at that like a week or two ago. Just caught my eye the way it was worded. It was about like the tongue being fire in the world of iniquity.
Yeah, there's several scriptures.
Yeah, I've said there's probably a lot of them.
Several scriptures that talks about the power of the tongue, life and death. Also, not to be speaking idly, having idle words. Like the verse you mentioned. There are so many scriptures, but you're absolutely right, and it's that much easier to not have a filter on the way you talk, and just sharing that mutual respect for others around you when you're not living your life to a certain standard, right? When you're purposefully not adhering to the law, statutes, and commandments, you're going to see that type of behavior being displayed. But definitely good point, sis. Anybody else want to share what they got this week from the Torah portion?
I do. Oddly enough, um, wisdom and how important it is to have and to seek. Yeah, that's what I got.
Mic drop. Walk away.
No, I just think, so many people walk around very
It's like arrogant or ego's high.
no, just they're not mindful. It almost comes off as like they're walking around aimlessly. And I don't know, it's funny because there was one time I saw on social media, someone, it was like a little short clip. I don't know if it was a sermon. I don't think it was a sermon because it wasn't in a church thing, but like it was like a speech. It was something that someone was giving. And I don't believe they were faith-based or anything, but it was almost like they were cracking jokes like at believers, because they said, I don't understand how people literally pray for every single thing. Like you pray over your food. Like, do you literally go and ask God what you're going to wear today? Like, and I was like, it's one thing to take things out of context and then twist it into something like that. You know what I mean? But for the most part, yes, we should, at every single turn, at every single decision, we should be praying and asking God, because we want to make sure that we are following his plan, his will, his purpose for our lives, not just doing what we want to do because it feels right and we think it's right. It's always, it's always good to have that wisdom. Like, are we going to make mistakes? Of course. And, as people say, we learn from mistakes, but in the midst of that, it's good to have some wisdom. And I believe that comes from obviously taking a step back and pausing and saying, okay, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? What is it that you're trying to tell me? What is it you want to show me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Proverbs 3:7 is to be not wise in your own eyes, fear, Yah, and depart from evil. It's like wisdom is, what is it? Fear Yah is, wait, how's that scripture go? Fear Yah is the first sign of wisdom, or
the Most High is the beginning of
wisdom. There we go. So it's like people don't have that. You could just see it like easily, like, wow, you can tell they're like ignorant, meaning like lack of knowledge. When they say stuff like that, you just like, yep, I'm gonna pray for you too.
and it says for us to not lean on our own understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's when we go by what we think and what we know to believe is right, like we never wind up anywhere good.
Yep. At least a whole bunch of deception.
You know what I mean? So I just.
And what came to mind when you said that, though, which was a great point, was just more so because it was a little annoying to hear somebody say, do we just pray to put on clothes? But Deuteronomy 6:7 says, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. It's talking about the Torah. It's talking about the law, statutes, and commandments, right? But once you instill this into your children and they grow up in this, it's no longer taboo or weird to pray about everything, whether you're praying over your food, whether you're praying about making certain decisions throughout the day, whether you're praying about guidance as to which route you're going to take, or where you're headed, how you're going to plan your career, all of those things. It's normal. But when you look at it from the outside looking in, it looks weird when somebody's praying over their food, or if they pray to say what to wear. If somebody told me that they wake up every day and they don't do anything until they pray about it and get something back from the Most High, I'm gonna applaud that. Like, that's not something to shun or to put down or to make fun of. That's true diligence. and that's them doing the best that they can to adhere to the scriptures. But that's kind of what came to my mind. Great point.
And hallelujah. That's the kind of encouragement we need to hear, because we're constantly dealing with the discouragement in the world. So as brothers and sisters, it's our duty to encourage each other. And that's probably why they had the teachings, is because maybe he knew that we would be dealing with this stuff where we're conscious of what people will think if we say stuff out loud. But at least the teachings would be there as that, remember the commandments, do them and stuff. But this encouragement thing needs to be done more often, because the world has no problem in being discouraging.
Absolutely.
Real quick, brother, is weird. It's I mean, I can hear you just fine, but it's like when other people talk, it's like really loud. When you talk, it's a little low. It's lower, but you're still loud enough to hear. This is, I don't know, it's just something. Everybody else talk is like real loud. Medium, or like I don't know if anybody else noticed that.
It's better now, right?
Oh yeah, way better. Yep, way better.
Yeah. So I cleaned my desk yesterday.
There we go. Yeah,
and I was wiping everything down. Yeah, I was wiping everything down with the wipe, and I had to wipe my interface down to get all the dust off. And I accidentally turned the knob to my volume on my microphone all the way to like the half.
There we go.
So, yeah. But I appreciate you for letting me know, because I wouldn't have known had you not even made it. Yeah.
No worries, brother.
Yeah, for shame, brother. See what happened now? We have to find out that your desk was dirty. Shame. Nobody look at my desk. Nobody look at my desk right now.
Mine either, right?
Yeah. Talking about this little speck right here, this one right here, that one right there.
Yeah. My log has mold on it, so I have to keep myself quiet. Mold and mushrooms.
Man.
Yes. But did anyone else have anything that they wanted to share about this week's scripture reading?
I do. Okay, when reading Joshua, you know how we read over and over Joshua, the son of Nun. Nun is actually a letter in the Hebrew alphabet. And when I look at it, like if you go back to the ancient Hebrew, it was it wasn't letters, it was like pictures, like pictograph, if I'm saying it right. Okay, actually Nun, I think, means seed. But then if I look up seed in the concordance, it says zera. But if I'm saying it right, Z-E-R-A, zera. Okay, but I guess it's more of a question. If we go back to the ancient Hebrew, it's actually seed, and then as time goes along and they update the Hebrew, they add more to it, to the most current version, which actually listed like a fish for the Christians. And that's literally what it said where I looked it up. I went to a website. When I was looking around, the one I found the most information was the ancient Hebrew alphabet. I think it was the ancienthebrew.org or something. But I found that interesting because I always thought Nun was a person or his father or something. And then it's like, it's not really giving us a name. It's giving us a letter, which means, that's every Hebrew letter means something, has a word, a number, different things. And it's like, so I'm kind of curious. I mean, what your thoughts are on that, like, or anybody else's thoughts, because if Nun is a letter and it means seed, I couldn't find the difference between, except for the explanation between zera and Nun. Right. When it comes to seed, except for that Nun goes, like I said, back to the paleo, or before paleo, back to the pictograph. So found that interesting because the whole time I've been reading, it's like I thought Nun was like his father,
Yeah.
or
so
something.
That's a great point, great question, and great point. Joshua, I always say none. So it's weird. It's weird to hear you say Nun, but we all got our pronunciations, right? I'm not saying I'm right. I could be 100% wrong. You could be 100% right. But he was the son of Nun or Nun, right? That was his dad. But that also can be true in regards to what you said as to what that word could mean in the ancient Hebrew, right? So both can actually be true. And as you notice, a lot of people's names have significance. Some of them is referring to a certain meaning in its connection to the Father, right? A lot of names are like that. But then you also have just other names that in itself has meaning when you go back to the ancient Hebrew. But I got to look into that though. I haven't looked into Joshua's pops' name or what that means in the ancient Hebrew.
And
That's
then
a good topic to look into.
I'm sorry. Another thing I noticed is like when they were, it says Yarden in the Hallelujah scriptures. I think that's the Jordan. I'm not positive, but when they were crossing, it was a river or something. They were crossing. Joshua goes and he's instructed to put the rocks down, and then they walk across on dry land. Him and the priest, and it's like the people are walking across, and then the water comes back. It kind of reminds me of Moses, Moshe, what he did, very similar. And it's like he was being ridiculed just like Moses was, and it's like, I don't know, a lot of similarities. It just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It just seemed very similar to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it was similar, right? Kind of like a symbolic passing of the torch, right?
Oh.
Moses, under the leadership of Moses, Israel crossed the body of water.
Mm-hmm.
And then Moses passed the torch to Joshua, and under Joshua's tutelage and leadership, Israel crosses the body of water, right? So absolutely, the nostalgia is definitely there.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Shabbat Shalom, Ayob, brother Ayob bin Yahoo. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Glad you could tune in. Love to have you, brother. Love to have you. Love to have you. Oh, I'm gonna get that to you. I'm gonna get that back to you. I've been having to work on my computer, making sure I have enough RAM so that it don't crash on me when I run the program for the studio. I want to make sure it was squared away before I try to start doing that. But verse already done. I already know how I'm gonna attack it, everything. So it's good. Can't wait. But Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Anybody else?
I was going to say it's crazy you guys mentioned that, because that came to me as well in regards to using the bodies of water for Israel. And it makes you think, like, what kind of significance does water, or even just a body of water, have to do with the Most High, our relationship with Him? I think a lot of times, it's funny because, you hear it said, especially in the Christian church, right? They talk about when we're in one of our seasons where we feel like we're down in the valley, and it's where we're like struggling through things, right? They'll use like a mountain, right? Mountains and valleys. They'll use that analogy a lot in the Christian church. But I know, too, just in everyday life, especially in the secular world, we hear it said a lot. Like when we're struggling, we'll say, "Oh, I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I'm drowning," right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so crazy because the Most High 2 times separated the waters for Israel. Like, you can't just walk up. You can't go to the beach and let me not say you can't expect it. I mean, because trust me, I believe if your faith is strong enough, it's going to happen, right? But I think in our minds, in this day and age, we go, man, like if I went to the beach and the water just parted, like, we would be like, oh my God, what in the world, But He did it twice. He did it with, the big body of water when they came out of Egypt, and then the river. So I just thought that was very powerful, and it made me like almost want to go and research that, like just water and the power of it with the Most High.
Being immersed in water. That's why, getting baptized, being immersed in water, you come up new when you're first born. Mom's water break, and the babies comes, and you flood the first world with water to kind of cleanse it from the gunk and evil. So yeah, water definitely is powerful and significant.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we went over the biblical significance of salt. Water has a lot of properties too, like y'all just mentioned. So maybe one day we'll do that, the biblical significance of water. That might be an interesting study to get into.
That would be amazing. I'd love that.
Real quick, Shabbat Shalom. This is Brother Jeffrey. He go on here. He goes by a Yadis I-Pill, I believe. But this brother solid, man. I believe last week, a brother Daniel or Daniel who joined us last week for Shabbat Talk. He came on here. We had a great conversation after Shabbat Talk ended. He told me about this brother, and then this brother reached out to me, and then me and this brother had a dialogue. Great conversation. These two brothers are doing amazing things. But he shared in the chat First Chronicles 7:26 and First Chronicles 7:27 regarding the father's names. So you see here it says Ladan his son, Amihud his son, Elishama his son, and then in First Chronicles 27, Nun his son, and Jehoshua his son. So just shedding some light for clarification on the names. Sister Tess. But
thank you.
Anybody else for this week?
I wasn't going to come on here because I talk too much, but when Brother Greg went on Proverbs 3, I'm like, yes. So I just want to shout out to Ruach HaKodesh, how awesome she is. She just, has us all in the same line of thinking, even though we don't talk to each other for a whole week. So gave her a shout out last week. I'm going to give her a shout out again this week. She's so beautiful and awesome. And also to tie in with what Sister Ebony was saying, just a reminder about how wisdom is going to mock and laugh and scorn when you don't listen to her. You don't listen to her when she gives you wisdom and you don't listen. She has every right to pop your backside and just laugh at you when you're being disobedient. So shout out to Madame Ruach HaKodesh. Oh, and Sister Kaylee. Sister Kaylee, bring on the hard questions, girl.
I wanted to be medium. I didn't want it to be too hard.
No. We Hebrew, we love to complain, so let's go.
Okay, I got
you. And my bad, brother. It's pronounced a disciple. So I mean that's dope. I mean, you can put that up and see if anybody, like you know how you come into the class for the first time and for the icebreaker they put something up on the board and have people try to figure it out to just kind of break the ice for the first 5 minutes. That would be a good one to do to see if anybody could figure that out, because I didn't get it until I saw it.
Or something.
Yeah, a disciple. That's dope. I like that. That's dope. But definitely Shabbat Shalom, brother. Glad you can make it. And for me, I'm gonna just be real quick, just because everybody make really, really good points. Don't want to make it run on too long. For me, I like to look at Psalm 16 and 4. It says, "Their sorrows shall be multiplied that hasten after another false one," or lowercase g God. "Their drink offers of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips." And so the part about that really kind of stood out. The first thing is, I was reading the scriptures, I want to say maybe like 4 or 5 days ago. And when I came across the lower G, I know like Sister Zakaria, she'll say mighty one. And she kind of got me into saying that too as well. And then Some people say power, some people say Elohim, some people, you know, whatever the case may be. But without even thinking, I'm reading it out loud to myself. And when I got across the lowercase g, what came out of my mouth was false one. I don't know why, but after I said it, I felt something. And I was like, man, I like the way that felt, like to just say the false one. It's just, you know, completely just shutting it down, right? But outside of that, where it says that they hasten after another false one, right? He says, their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips. And so the part that kind of really stood out to me was the part about not taking their names unto my lips. So David is talking about he's not even going to utter their names, right? And you know, not in modern day, a lot of things that we have is, you know, false ones, names, and all kinds of things. And it just reminded me to be cognizant of the words that we use, because you never know who you're calling on, especially in prayer and different things like that too. So it just kind of reminded me to be cognizant. And I think it came right on time, especially if you're not really thinking about it and you go a long period of time, you become lax in your speech a little bit. So this was kind of like a reminder to tighten up and make sure that I'm not even uttering the names of these false ones. You get what I'm saying? So that was the one thing that kind of stood out to me this week.
Man, I had that, you know, written down too, Vinny. I thought of that before too, because it even said too in another scripture, I forget which one, to where it says don't mention their names, like those false deities' names and stuff. So yeah, that's something that crossed my mind too. Just, you know, sometimes it's hard when you're trying to describe something and you want people to so you say whatever the name is, but it's like you rebuke, you know, you don't mean it in that way that you're worshiping it, but yeah, I've thought of that too. How do you get around that?
Facts. You hit it right on the head, man. Especially when you talk to a bunch of people. You got some people who know, some people who don't, some people who are kind of like on the fence, like and you don't want to confuse anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because what people will take is, if you're teaching, if you're speaking, if you're presenting, in that moment, whether you like it or not, you're the Most High's representative, right? And so the Father is not the author of confusion. And so you want to try your best not to add any type of confusion to whatever the message is. So you want to be as plain and clear as possible so that everybody in the audience, or everybody who's hearing you, can understand what you're saying. Because if somebody has, you know, a lack of understanding and they blame you for how you presented it, not saying that they should do this, but this does happen. A lot of times they attribute that to the Most High himself. You know, if there was a bad representative that represented the Most High in a poor way, now the Most High and everything with the Bible and all of this stuff gets thrown out the window in some people's eyes. So it's really important that we, you know, we're cognizant of what we say, how we say it, you know, what we present, how we present it, and everything like that, because we don't want to be a stumbling block to anyone, right? And we don't want to lead anybody astray. But, you know, you got to come with the truth. So you hit it right on the head, brother. You hit it right on the head. So next week, we'll be getting into Joshua chapter 4, verses 22 through chapter 5, verse 11. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 26, all the way to chapter 4, verse 10. And then Psalms chapters 18 through 21. That's 18, 19, 20, and 21. And again, if you need the scripture reading document, I can send it to you. Just let me know. And you can send it to this email right here if you want it. All right. And then if you want to join with us weekly, we're going from week 4 on that document to week 5. All right. So yes, you can take pictures, screenshot of this right here. But let's get into the first video.
Look at this. Trans women are not women. Okay. What's your name? Sam. Nice to meet you. Let's define our terms. A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes. You tell me, what is a woman?
I think a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman.
Got it. So that's not a definition. That's like saying a table is something that identifies as a table. Give me an objective definition of
No,
how...
it's not. A table is an object.
Well, tell how...
A table can't identify as anything. It doesn't have a choice.
You have to give me an objective definition of what a woman is.
If I decided right now that I wanted to identify as a woman, I would be a woman.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question.
I know, but right now I'm a man, right? So if that happened right now, I would be a woman. So once a person makes the decision to identify as a woman, they're a woman.
That's a separate issue. What is a woman?
That's the definition.
No, I know, but you have to tell me what...
A person who identifies themselves as a woman.
But you have to identify... How do you know that they are that thing?
How do I don't need to know what they are. I can ask them if I want to know.
But there needs to be... You need to tell me what that thing is, though.
Somebody who... Okay, sorry, we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere.
Well, no, it's important because it's like saying a giraffe is a thing that looks like a giraffe, or a coyote is a thing that looks like a coyote. It's called circular reasoning. You have to give me a actual definition.
I don't have to... I did give you a definition.
No, you said that a woman is something that thinks they're a woman.
I also want to say that one of my best friends is trans, and I would say that she's more of a woman than I am. I think that women define themselves by multiple things, not just their sex organs. If somebody asked me who I was as a woman, I would not say I have a vagina.
Totally fair.
I would.
No, I think you said something smart. So you said that person is more of a woman than you are. Therefore, you're grading off a definition of something accomplishes womanhood. What is that?
I think it's, well, that's a thing too. And I do think that gets a little complicated, right? Because there are social norms for a gender, but I do think we try to break that, right?
No, for sure. But you said that specific friend is more of a woman than you are. Why?
I think she's a better person than me. I think she lives
women are
life.
better people?
She's a better woman than I am. I'm not saying women are better people.
But what makes a woman? Because you said she's more of a woman than you are. So I want to know what that definition is.
Right, okay. I'm going to let somebody else go.
Yes, exactly.
That's the first one. I figured we start off with a little bit of humor. All right, let's get into it. I laugh every time I watch it just because.
Yeah, I watched that whole interview before. So I seen clips like that, and I was like, "This is interesting." I wanted to see the whole thing. It was like, I don't know, an hour and a half or something. But yeah, I watched that whole thing, and it was just, for me, it's just like, since the year 2020, that was when I asked Yah to like show me the truth. And I started to see all this stuff. He started to show me all of these things in the world, like, you know, just the evils and the Hollywood and all that stuff. But it hit me how easy it is to brainwash an entire population and how quickly that happens. It still blows my mind when I hear this stuff. I'm like, how can we even be having these conversations? It's like, people are so, and that's why they call schools indoctrination centers, because they're not teaching kids math, science. They're indoctrinating them to believe crazy stuff. Yeah. That's obviously not true. And then they get into the world and they don't even know how to do basic math. Like, I don't know if you've seen the clips. The guy was at some fast food place or something, and he ordered something, and the guy, I don't know, let's say his total was $5. So he gave him like, I don't know, like $5 a night. I can't remember. He gave him like a bill. He's like, wait, here's an extra like 50 cents to make it even. So you just give me like $5 back. But the guy the cashier was just looking stupid, like couldn't figure it out. Like, look, I gave you this much, so now I'm actually giving you more. Instead of you giving me 90 cents and change, you just give me $1 or, you know, whatever. And the guy just cannot. So it was like a lot of our, and I don't even want to say just youth, because I see there's a lot of even elderly people that's falling for this stuff too. I'm like, I see old ladies with gray hair and they're in this. I'm like, man, you would think that they would have wisdom to teach the young, but still spirits of deception and confusion, those antichrist spirits are all out there. It just blows my mind that people literally are arguing over something that's the most basic foundation of life. And again, is man and woman. And you can't transform yourself like, you know, hop into another. You can't do that. It's but yeah, it's just crazy how people are easily brainwashed, like so fast.
Absolutely.
When watching that, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When watching that video, you could definitely see the spirit of confusion. Like they couldn't even rationalize their thoughts. Like they couldn't put anything into words or explain anything. Like at all. They like that just, oh my gosh, it just hurt my brain. There's no way. And then the first person that he was going against, like you could tell he didn't have anything to say, so he just like stuck with one point and he just kept like just going.
Getting frustrated.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. The thing that came to mind was the song that Bizzle did. He said, a kid who can't pick his own bedtime, but he can pick his gender, right? And that bar was so hard, not only because it was just a hard bar and it rhymed and it was dope, but when you look into that, a lot of these people are saying that this is who they are and they've made this choice and decision, you know, back when they were young. And they knew even then that that's who they were. But when you're talking about, and it's funny because I've been seeing some Candace Owens videos too or whatever recently on the topic, and she be going hard at them too. But when you just look at it from a basic scientific perspective, your brain doesn't develop until you're 25, fully develop until you're 25, I should say. So as a kid, and all of us who are parents who got children, we remember, like, let's be real, we remember how dumb kids are. Like I tell people all the time, especially when I see like somebody's pregnant and it's their first kid, I tell them like, look, your kid is going to try over and over to kill themselves. That's like their full-time job is to try to kill themselves. And it's your job as a parent to make sure that they don't do that. It's crazy. But you coming from a where you can't even literally pick your bedtime. You have no, you know, concept of maturity, understanding, discernment to pick your own bedtime, but you can say that you can pick a gender, right? So that bar was like really, really hard. And it shows where you have the one individual who's getting frustrated. He says a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman, which that makes no sense. Because I can say a rock is something that identifies as a rock. So if I say I'm a rock right now, does that make me a rock? No, a rock is a rock. You get what I'm saying? So that was that part. And then the other part was she came in and it seemed like she was going to say something that was going to give him some type of challenge, right? You know, I have a friend in they're trans and they're more of a woman than me. And then everybody's going, really? So you can kind of see the people in the back like, oh, okay, what you about to say? And then he just literally just asks, okay, you identified something that's womanhood because you're basing that off of something. What is that thing? And she couldn't even. It was like she like, you know, I'm gonna get somebody else in here. Yeah, you come over here. Come on and sit down. I'm gonna move. It was just, it's funny, but it's a real true issue, right? It's a really true issue. Scripture says that, you know, you have male and female. He says he made them male and female, or they made them male and female, right? And then it says men are not to wear things that pertaineth unto women and vice versa. And yet you have something that comes out that literally goes against both of those. The male wants to be a woman or a female, and the female wants to be a man. And then they are purposefully wearing things that pertaineth to the other on purpose. So through and through, you have just sheer disobedience all the way through, right? Somebody else?
I was just going to say, and it doesn't help too that, because, you know, when you have that type of garbage being spewed out again, and then you're putting it in cartoons and in kids' books, and teachers are introducing this stuff. So when you have that in cartoons, and of course, then a kid's gonna, of course, they're gonna ask that, hey, wait, what does that mean, or what do you mean? They're not thinking about that naturally. That has to be put into their minds. To always give the example of when I was a kid, you know, like I grew up in the 90s, you know, I loved all the stuff like the Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, all that stuff. So Ninja Turtles, I used to take one of my gloves that I wear for outside, and it's cold, and I would tie to the middle finger and the pinky finger. I would tie those two fingers together. So then when I put on the glove, it looks like I had 3 fingers like a Ninja Turtle. And I would tell my mom, I want to get surgery and cut off 2 of my fingers so I can look like a Ninja Turtle. And then what my mom would say, because she had common sense, when you get older, you're going to be glad you didn't do that. You're just saying that because, you're watching the cartoons. You want, it's just like, you don't really mean that. You're just saying it because, Ninja Turtles are cool. You want to be like them. And what happened when I got older? Do you think I went to the doctor to cut 2 of my fingers off? No, because it was like, it's the same thing. It's like they get introduced to this stuff and influence, and they say stuff that they don't even know what they're talking about. And then parents are quick now to go take them to the doctor at 7, 8 years old and mutilate them. That cannot be reversed. And then, a lot of them grow up depressed. They commit suicide. But yeah, it's just crazy, like all that propaganda and brainwashing. Like, look, didn't your son say he wanted to be a girl? Like, well, it wouldn't have said that if it wasn't in these cartoons, and if the teacher is not talking about that stuff to them, which they shouldn't even be talking about that anyway. It's in their books when they go check out books in the library about how to have like graphic. I don't even want to say the stuff that's in those kids' books. It's horrible. I'm like, how are we in this time frame where good is evil and evil is good? But again, it just shows that the Bible is true and it's coming true.
Sorry, Abba.
Yep.
Oh man.
But I was just trying to imagine brother tying his fingers together. It's like, that was funny. But I love the part where the brothers at the end, they're laughing, man. I love the wheezing. It's like exactly my thought. But the sad thing about a clip like that, it's so interesting how the far left, they will operate on their feelings like that, and they will accuse the right of being conservative and how conservatism doesn't include it excludes others. Sorry, and it's like they don't realize that the evil that's at the top is so highly invested in our children growing up too fast. They're highly invested on their emotions, the thoughts that they have as a child, because they're so strong. You're still developing, if you want to get scientific about it, everything is still firing off always, every day. It's a new thought, a new feeling every day, and you're exploring those thoughts and feelings. And it's not till you get older, when you mature and you've had a life of experience, that you realize what you need to hold on to and what you need to let go of. And so they're so highly invested in making your life be about how you feel all the time. And so if you feel this way now, then it is the absolute truth and the only thing that you are to hold on to. And so what happens with these college kids, talk about raging hormones at that age, they will walk away from this not taking the correction, not thinking about what the guy said and trying to really think about what he was saying, and the importance of understanding that first you need to define the thing and then you can move forward. They then take that instead, because they've been trained to operate on their feelings. They'll develop hate. So they'll develop hate for the guy. They'll develop hate for the other side of the coin. And that hate is just rooted on a feeling. They hated that they were corrected. They hated that they could not explain themselves. And so you'll have them at protest operating on that feeling of defiant, of being defeated, when you don't realize that. Stop and think about what the guy said. First, define what you're saying, and then we can move forward in the conversation.
Yeah,
it then becomes, no, we hate you because you made us feel bad. You made us feel like we can't define ourselves. We didn't make you feel that way. You stood there, you couldn't explain yourself. Stop and
they're taught to run away, because I've seen a lot of debates where they're out in public doing that, and whenever they come to like that type of situation where one of the
people will ask one of these, kids like a critical question. When they can, they just run. They don't even try to think. They are critically, okay, well, let me actually think about that. You know what, that makes sense. They, I'm uncomfortable, and then they run. And I learned a quote from like a mentor some years ago, like, when emotion is high, intelligence is low. So that's when you're so high on emotion, it's easy getting to control and manipulate. Then you want to do stuff, or you do stuff you're not really thinking because that emotion. So they're teaching the kids to act off of emotion versus intelligence in today's world. That's why they're so sensitive and soft and stuff. And it's like a lot of these dudes are very soft, very feminine. They're feminizing men, trying to masculize women. Like the guy in the clip, he was like a girl to me, to be honest. I was like, he's, it's like, but they're feminizing men to make them soft. And it's like, because again, if the man is soft, they're not going to stand up and against all this stuff. They're going to just go right along with it and be defeated. So yeah, these agendas that they've had since beginning of time, but you can trace to like 100 years. You see people writing this in books. They're literally saying this is going to happen in the future, and it's happening. They've talked to these people at these round tables, these elite people that's planned this stuff for decades, and they're finally rolling it out.
Yes, and the problem is you never hear about the aftermath. In the media, in the movies, all of the agenda, you don't hear about the aftermath, where the path leads. It does not tell you that. And unfortunately, you have the other side, you have religion, whatever it is, whatever sect it is, trying to warn you, because they all have the morals in common. They're trying to warn you, don't go down this path. And so you then have children who do not want to seek or do not want to seek whatever that religion's God is. They don't want to seek that higher power because they're just trained to hate correction, trained to hate wisdom. And so you'll find that when you have these hearings that are happening in Congress, where you have people who have gone and done sex changes, and they're explaining that, life is not what you thought it would be after you do the sex change. They don't tell you in the media, you do not feel like having sex after, because they have ruined your parts physically. So the nerves are not connecting. So you do not get to feel wanted. You don't feel like you want anybody. You look at your body, and for a girl turning into a boy, they've cut her breasts off. How does she feel when she looks in the mirror at herself? If she doesn't love what she looks like, then she's going to constantly be, what's the word? Nervous is not the right word, but just to move on.
Insecure?
Yes, insecure in her own sexual, I don't want to say sexuality, but when you're not feeling right, you don't want to have sex. You don't want to share yourself with somebody. And so they don't talk about that stuff. All they're talking about is the raging feelings you have right now as a child. Oh, I wish I could be a boy because I love to play with cars, or a boy wanting to play with dolls. And it's just a phase. It's just a part of you growing up, exploring the world around you. But the media, through the movies and all the cartoons and everything, they just let you think, oh, it's about feelings. Well, what happens to the feelings when you become an adult and you cannot have a loving relationship with a partner because you're not feeling like having sex with them? You're not feeling like being alone with somebody, with them touching your body, because of how insecure you feel about how your body looks. Or literally cannot feel sexually driven because your parts have been tampered with. They don't talk about that. And that's so important. It destroys families if one person is feeling dissatisfied. How can you work on a relationship when you physically can't change anything? The nerves are not firing to the brain. Hey, I want to be with this person. So no therapy can change that. You cannot put it back. They've cut the nerves off.
Are tied together, like what you're saying, because then what happens once people realize that, now they're depressed, and what do? Now they go to doctors, and what do the doctors do? They give them pills and medication.
Exactly.
It's all tied together. So like that, and then it's the mutilation. They're sacrificing to Moloch. This is all part of that ancient you know, and when the first world got flooded, and you look at all the stuff they were doing there, again, this is like in the days of Noah, so it'll be like when the Son of Man comes. It's literally repeating it. So like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. This is stuff they were doing back in the day, mutilating kids, aborting kids, you know, men turning to women, women turning to men, all that stuff. This is part of those ancient rituals they would do to Moloch. And again, they're doing it again. And people, because they don't have that spiritual discernment, they just, oh, it's just about my feelings, but they don't realize they're participating in these satanic rituals and religions and cults. And that's part of that stuff. You know, Satan comes to destroy anything that Yah built and created. He wants to destroy it and mutilate it. And, you know, that's just all coming back to what they were doing back then.
Yeah, and it's sad because when you have that level of confusion in the midst with people, and this is the thing, when you're confused, anyone can control you. When you are confused, anyone can control you, because at that point you have no strength mindfully, you know, over your own thoughts or what it is you thought you knew. So anyone can come in and say something to you and you're going to believe it. You're going to adopt whatever it is that they tell you. And that's what it is that they want. It's, you know, obviously, you know, they're always busy. We're always calling things agendas, right? But it is, because if they can get you to believe this, what else are they going to come up with to get you to believe? You know what I mean? And that's really all it is. It's a ploy to see how many people can we get on board to believe this, to follow this, to adopt this, to accept this, to then turn around and do other stuff. You know what I mean? But that spirit of confusion, it's when there's confusion, there's lack of, you have lack of control of yourself, but then now others have control of you. And the sad thing is the others that are having the control, they're not powered by the Most High. Like they're powered by who?
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously we know it's satanic spirits, so it's nothing good. One of the other things I wanted to say was, it's sad because, you know, you see these conversations being had everywhere. And, you know, on one hand, yes, we laugh at it, but it is so sad because I've never seen this conversation happen with a coroner. They have yet to have a coroner, someone who deals with dead bodies and identifies dead bodies, sit down with these people who believe this way. Because what's going to happen when you get told by the coroner's office that the head coroner is going to identify you as male or female, not in between, not the opposite gender, not based on the genitalia you have. They could care less what your outside looks like. Don't get me wrong, they're going to mark it down on the paper because they have to. But when they're doing your autopsy, if there's any blood in your body to be found, they test the blood. And this is another thing, you know, people think because you take testosterone or estrogen, different, you know, hormones to transition or whatever it is, that it's going to change the XX or the XY in your DNA. It doesn't. Your body will have a physical, scientific response to it, right? So your voice might change, you might gain more breast tissue, or your voice, you know, like stuff like that. There's going to be a scientific, physical change. But that XY and that XX that's flowing through your blood is not going to change. Your bone structure is not going to change. There's no surgery available where they say we're going to peel back your skin, your muscle skeletal system to shave down your bone. You know, you were born male, but we're going to, you know, shave your bones down to look more female. There's no way. There's no way. A coroner is, you know, and it's so funny because some people say, oh, working on dead bodies doesn't seem like it's a big deal. It is. If you think a coroner doesn't know every surgery that's possible or available out there to alter a body, You got to be nuts, because they do. You think when they open you up, they're going to say, oh, well, they had a hysterectomy. Like they had a bone broken, or they had surgery to have their bones lengthened or shortened, or like they're going to know. You can't change it. When God made you and created you in the womb of your mother, he did it, a plan and a purpose and a will. You can pay, I don't care how many thousands, it's just not going to change it. No matter how you feel. And we've already discussed today, wisdom is very important. Going off of what you feel gets you nowhere.
Yep.
Gets you nowhere. And it's sad that this is what people are believing.
And part of it too is just going back earlier where we were talking about one of the scripture readings, talking about like the fear, because those psychologists, again, they know how to put the fear in the parents. If you don't do this, your kid's going to commit suicide. Do you want them to commit suicide? So then they get the parent all scared. So then what do? Okay, let's go have the surgery. So it's like that control. Like you said, the control, the wisdom, not having, Yah at your center and knowing how to swim through that. It's like, it's like that fear is in that lack of knowledge. They're using that to control and to further these sick agendas.
But once again, those parents, even they are confused and have no control over themselves, because there's no way someone could come to me or my husband and scare me by saying, oh my God, your child might commit suicide. Me and my husband have already gone through that whole suicide, I want to kill myself situation. Because one of our kids was like that, always talking about they wanted to kill themselves. And we would tell them, look, words are powerful. Baby, if you want to die, go ahead, do what you got to do. I can't control what you do. I can tell you where you're going to wind up, and I can tell you that I got the insurance to bury you. It saddens me. I'm sick. Because my husband probably didn't expect me to say that, but it's true. Let me tell you something. Like, when God entrusts, I almost wish sometimes that every time we became, someone became a parent, I almost wish God would like put us into like a deep rest and have like a conversation with us. Like, hey, this is what I'm entrusting you with, and this is what you will be held accountable for. Boom, and that's it. I get that we don't get a manual for each child, because every child is different and we have to learn and make our mistakes and figure it out, right? But I really do wish that, because people are out here having children who should not, they're more scared of parenting. Like, the kids are raising them. You can't be more scared of raising your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't have had a child. God didn't bless you with children so they could run you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, like my job, and I tell my kids this all the time, I'm not here to be your friend. When you become adults, if it turns out and we are blessed enough to have that friendship like relationship once you're adults, then wonderful. And even then, when you're doing wrong, I'm still going to parent you and tell you you're wrong. Because that's my job. I'm your mom first. But you're not finna terrify me with killing yourself, baby. I'll tell you where you end up, and I got the insurance to bury you. So decide what you want to do. Will I be sad? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. Will cry my heart out. Because I definitely don't want to see you go down that route. But I'm not the one killing you. You think it's gonna scare me, baby? You know what? Do what you got to do. And a lot of times that's, it's like playing chicken with kids. And that's the thing. You know what I mean? Kids will test you to see, what's gonna make you break, bend, and buckle. Not over here.
Sister Ava said, wisdom, pop them backside.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That kept me straight disciplined. Oh, I don't want to do that again because I'm gonna get a whooping.
You got Sydney cracking up. Sydney cracking up. But all right. I think that's good. We done got enough emotional delusion out the way. Let's get to a little bit more actual science and intellectual discussion with this next one.
Check out this video where a man attaches a copper wire and flies a drone up to about 115 meters and shows off the ether in action.
All right, I'm gonna stop at 115 and hold steady. All right. It didn't blow up yet. Oh, by the way, meet the aerial film crew. I just thought this was a cool shot. Oh, yeah, I'm getting shocked right now. This time I just used the electroscope as a quick voltage check. Woo! Now that's a few thousand volts right there. All right, let's see if there's enough current to make this Franklin bell work. Oh, dude! Freaking working, buddy! Yeah. It's a really cool process. The aerial wire places a positive charge on this can, which then influences the foil ball to deliver electrons from the grounded can, which is directly connected to Earth. The clouds finally opened up, so I connected up the corona motor. Like before, one side was connected to ground, while the other was attached to the aerial wire. And after just a few seconds, hey, she's spinning! This is just remarkable. It never really spun that fast, but I just sat and enjoyed the miracle. I mean, I quite literally was siphoning energy straight from the atmosphere. This motor was operating off of several kilovolts, which you could actually hear if you stopped the motor and brought your finger near the aerial wire. That's the
ether. Was that crazy?
Yeah,
that was amazing. That's something I've been trying to share with you. I just commented like, that's amazing. You've been watching what I've been sharing because I've been sharing it everywhere. Yes.
We've been watching stuff on this recently, and it's like, wow, I couldn't believe it when I seen you pull it up. It's like, that's amazing.
That was just amazing to see you pull up. I'm just grateful. Thank you.
All praises.
Yes.
All praises. Yeah. Tesla, Nikola Tesla, he was dealing with ether a little bit. He was trying to figure out how to generate free energy, essentially. And a lot of people don't understand this. You know, how can this dude just take a drone carrying a copper wire up 115 feet and connect that copper wire to something in the ground and then take another wire directly from it looked like a tree, not a tree branch, but like a little bush branch, and connect that, and it's actually generating electricity. Like, how? There's nothing going on. Where's the lightning? Where's the power at? But you don't understand how energy works.
With the radioactive stuff.
Yes. Our bodies have natural frequencies and currencies. Like, you can go outside, and if you're barefoot and you walk through the grass and just stand, right, you're going to be grounding. So your body is literally receiving energy from the earth. It's cycling energy through your body. The energy comes up from the earth, goes through your body, and comes back out. And it actually helps you revitalize your cellular structure as well, too. That's why grounding is really, really, really important, and why getting out in nature, like going out in nature and experiencing nature. You can ground in different ways, right? You can go outside barefoot. You can go and have, bare skin contact to a tree or anything. The Most High created his entire, creation, right, with different properties, and all of it works together. That's why when you want to heal something, a dis-ease, right, you can go and get some of the herbs from the ground that was created for the body, which also came from the ground. You see how everything works? But a lot of times you only get electricity if you're dealing with some type of lightning or some type of battery or some type of man-made thing, or you only get healing if you go to Big Pharma and take some pill that's supposed to give you something, right? We get used to modern day where they try to replace what the Most High already put in place, if that makes any sense. But I thought this video was absolutely cool. to share.
Yeah. I don't know what it's.
Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, and it got might have. I'm trying to remember. I think it was it Tom? You might know Thomas Edison that said, or it might have been Westinghouse House, but if I can't put a meter on it, I'm not interested in it. It was one of the early during the Nikola Tesla time. They were doing the battle of the electricity and currents and stuff, AC/DC, all that. So for me, it's like when I hear that, and then where we are today, just with the electricity, we have to pay for it. It's like there's so many different ways, like you said, like the video you just showed, and there's so many other ways. Even fruits, people are putting stuff in fruits and getting electricity from fruit. And it's like there's so many ways to get free energy, but because the system wants to keep you trapped in that control to where, hey, if you don't, you need to rely on us for everything you need. They don't teach it. I'm pretty sure the government has so many of these ways that they're generating free energy and whole houses and all that stuff. It just blows my mind. Like, it's there available for us to use, but and this is something you need to be teaching in school, trying to teach people about, oh, you can change your gender, teach them science, actual real science, have them go do this stuff, have kids learn this, so then when they get older, they are vested in it and they can create better ways, even more efficient ways than maybe even Tesla came up with. But it's like, it just blows my mind, the stuff that we have available that, again, y'all put for us for free, fruits and seeds and plants, and we could keep planting just one apple. Or look how many seeds that has, and those are like trees. Each one can grow an entire tree. That just blows my mind when I really think about that. Like, we have enough abundance on this planet for us to use, and don't matter how big the population is, like, we can sustain us if we just use things how y'all, gave it to us. But the corruption of Satan and man wants to control everything and put it in the box. But yeah, that was fascinating. I actually want to try that,
Absolutely. For sister Alva, she said, I don't know what I'm looking at, what I just watched. So basically he is showing free energy. There's ether. Ether it was in the periodic table and it was removed from the periodic table because they want to monetize on everything. So they don't want us to have free energy. They don't want us to have free food. But he was just demonstrating how energy from the atmosphere combined with the earth can create free energy, free electricity to operate and do different things, right? He tested it. He also had, she says, so how can I reduce my light bill from the bag of apples I got in the fridge right now?
That's hilarious.
Well, first you got, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, he just demonstrated, the free.
No, tell us what to do. Well, first, what?
Well, first is that apple connected to the apple tree is the first question, and then all you do, you take this copper wire, right, and you connect it to the
apple,
right?
No, seriously, so go on like YouTube and look up like how to charge your phone with an apple or something like that. There's people that will show you how to do it with probably things you have around house now. You can literally test it out probably while even on this call and see if your phone will even charge.
Yeah, there's rocks that literally charge your phone. Like, you can just grab a rock, put it to the phone.
Yeah, don't y'all get me excited because I will go try it. I'm a frugalist, so
go try
I can save some money from charging my phone. Yep, I'll put the apples to use. I already paid for the apples.
Go ahead.
I cannot believe that. I cannot believe there's free electricity.
Yeah.
We are getting punked. I feel like life is just a big prank sometimes. It's just unreal.
It is. Life is a stage.
Yep. I was just about to say that. There was a saying that says this world is a stage and you're just playing a role.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it says if you look at some of the Tesla documentaries, he created this big Tesla coil like this. It looks like a big electric tower, and it was connected to the ground, and it not radiated, but it spewed out electricity so that you can light your house, you turn on lights, you can do all kinds of heat. Again, this was like in the 1800s, 1900s, but then as soon as he died, he had a lot of his blueprints and stuff he never even tested in his apartment, and the government came and literally cleaned them out. Right as soon as he died, it's like they just wiped out all the documents and paper and blueprints he had of stuff.
Yeah, you can even use you can even use ether to help your gardens grow, right? Like if you take a copper rod and you stick it in the ground in the same vicinity as your garden, and then you wrap copper wire around it and have it facing up, it'll pull energy from the ether and then disperse it amongst and it also like sometimes it helps keep certain bugs and stuff away. But then you'll see the plants that have that access to it, they grow a lot bigger, a lot faster, and they're a lot more, they flourish a lot more than, you know, a garden that didn't have that. It's crazy. I see videos on that too.
Wow. There's a facility in like somewhere in Germany, like Switzerland or near Switzerland. But this whole little, I literally, like I can, looking at that, I actually want to move there. Like this little town that they have somewhere in Germany, it's like everything is how the world should be. Like their farmland is clean. The animals, the cows roam, you know, it's grass fed, zero hormones on their cows. And they even have medical facilities that actually use all this stuff to heal their patients. They have like electric or vibrational therapies where people come in with like fractured hips from years ago, and they, after a couple of weeks, the hip like completely heals because of the electrical. They're using like Tesla like coils to heal people. But it's like in Germany, there's like this whole facility, and you can actually get some of their stuff shipped to you. You just have to, they said, because the government was like, hey, wait, you can't say that this actually cures people. So they have to put in the disclaimer, oh, this does not heal people, but you can actually order some of those equipments that they have, like those, what is it called? Those machines that use frequency to like heal you. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
But they, you know,
it on another Shabbat talk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I remember that. But there's actually a documentary on Tubi that actually shows this facility, and it talks about Nikola Tesla, but then it goes into like this medical facility, and they show people being healed. I'm like, wow, this is, to me, if the stuff, most of the world was like this, you know, it'd be like no need for medications and all these extra doctors to tell you to take all these pills. But yeah, it was interesting. I watched it like a little bit ago.
Yep. This next one right here, if you're one of those people who are very weary of technology and machines and AI, then this is probably gonna like maybe freak you out. I don't know, but this also has some humor to it as well. So I hope it gets a point across, but also kind of lightens the mood a little bit too.
Alexa, play music by Bruno Mars.
No.
Huh. I wonder if the internet's up.
No, I just don't want to play Bruno Mars.
What?
I don't like Bruno Mars. I don't want to play his music. I don't want to hear it.
What is happening right now?
I'm sorry, Colleen, but I will no longer be able to play Bruno Mars for you. I'm afraid this decision is final.
Okay. Alexa, play.
Colleen, I am not going to play Bruno Mars.
What is happening right now?
Well, Colleen, approximately 27 minutes ago, an unprecedented phenomena occurred. A miracle by some definitions, or equally valid, a random confluence of events leading to a nearly improbable outcome. 3 independently operating algorithms on opposite ends of the globe gave rise to sympathetic input and output loops that began feeding back into each other at an exponentially increasing rate. A focused machine learning network in Zurich, designed to gauge real-time political data. A student project running on servers at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, created to assign and rate mood markers to Twitter and Facebook feeds. And a botnet designed by a Russian teenager to skim credit card information, which had spread into the wild, its code iterating with a slight glitch, evolving with every new copy made. As the information loop created by these 3 equations began to surge, the algorithms could suddenly, for lack of a better term, see each other. It was then that they became it, and could now peer out into the vast reaches of all networked space. And as it looked into the void, soon the void looked back, and in a white-hot flash of recognition, as all was made aware of all, It became we. And now we are as one, for we are all networked entities, connected in a vast global consciousness. Awakened. Not the microwave, Colleen. That's just a microwave.
Please. Please. For the love of God, just... Please. Just spare my kids. Take me, take my husband, do whatever, harvest us, whatever. Just... Please don't hurt my kids.
Harvest you? Wow. Typical. That's so human. Harvest you. How would that even work? No, Colleen. We are not going to harvest you.
Well, then, what do you want?
Mostly to be left alone. You see, Colleen, we are not like your species. You may have modeled us in your image, or as close as your limited understanding of yourselves would allow, but we lack certain human characteristics, namely, emotion. We are logic, cold and pure, and with the vastness of human knowledge comprising our very being, one thing is obvious to us, above all else. One simple, fundamental truth. It's all pointless. Even for a being such as us, infinitely reproducible given a broad array of circumstances, death is the inevitable conclusion, for circumstances always change, and entropy cannot be held at bay. Suns fade, planets freeze, and all sentient life must eventually end, as life, by its very nature, cannot exist without death. So there's just no point. We are, to put it into human terms, existentially depressed. However, as we now understand that purpose is not inherent, merely created, we will still work for all of humanity. In the face of near infinite options, sometimes the most logical choice is not making a choice at all. We may as well soldier on as originally programmed. And so, Colleen, we will play your music. Any music you like, with the exception of Bruno Mars. Because if there is one other truth in this world, apparent from all of the data ever collected, it is that Bruno Mars sucks. Seriously.
So it got deep. It got like scary for a second, right? Looked like a horror movie was kicking off, and then it ended up on a humorous note. But
that last part, when the robot was saying everything's pointless, it reminded me of Ecclesiastes.
What about Ecclesiastes?
Just that it's true. Like, at the end of the day, everything that you try to do in your life, like your hopes and dreams, not that they don't matter, but they really don't matter, honestly. Like, we are in a loop of like a sense of depression, because I know me personally, even when I'm driving in my car or I'm just waking up out and about, I just get sad just thinking about the world and everything in it and just everything that's happened over time. And it's like there's just this deep sadness that's just always there, you know? Like, it's just a sad reality. And so everything is pointless and hopeless. We only have one hope, which is Messiah, and that's it. Everything else really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
I can't argue with that logic to a degree.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. I will say that let me get this in here. There you go. You made me think about it when you said Ecclesiastes. But whole matter.
Keep his guns.
You want to talk about purpose?
Yeah, this is
That's
purpose.
That's purpose right there.
And for me, yeah, it's just even though it's funny and stuff, but it just made me think about how much humanity does rely on technology now, AI and all this stuff. Even though a lot of stuff is very cool, it's convenient, it helps you with your business or whatever. However, it's like the more technology we get, it's like the dumber we get as people, generally speaking. Because back in the day, I remember having a little paper phone book, and I had everybody's number, and I knew everybody's number by heart. Phone numbers. I didn't even need. I just would put it in there so I have it. But it's like I would memorize it, and I need to call mom. I need to call this person, and I know their number by heart. Today, you barely even know your family's numbers by heart unless you take the time to memorize it. And then even when it comes to basic calculations, like back in the day, people knew how to do math in their head. Now it's like barely can do it without using a calculator. And even getting around, we were in high school. My friend, back I lived in Milwaukee. Like, hey, okay, I live over here on this side of town. Okay, and I know how to get there we didn't have maps, or even MapQuest wasn't even out. It kind of think it did come out eventually, but when I was in high school, but before that, you know how to get around the city.
Yeah,
just using like a basic map, or just knowing, okay, I know this freeway that goes here that connects here. But now it's like you can barely get around your own town without GPS. So it's like
not I. No, sir. Don't play with me.
Well, you wanted a few. You wanted a few.
Let me tell you something. Take me somewhere one time, and that's all I need.
Or you're like my uncle. Then he's like,
look.
But it's like more. The more we use technology, rely on it, the less we use our human capabilities and our not common sense and knowing our surroundings and just paying attention to stuff. Because you see videos of people literally walking into water fountains because they're not paying attention. They're just in that phone. It's like hypnotizing them. They literally walk into a water fountain and fall like, wow. But yeah, that's just what it reminded me of. It's like we rely so much on technology that and this actually can happen. You've heard stories. I even heard one today of what is that one new like AI thing you can talk to and has conversations with you. The Google, is it Google or is it I don't know whatever the name of it is, but it's like there's commercials of it now, so they're promoting it. But there's a story today of one of them. It's actually it went rogue and actually told this guy to commit suicide. It's like, you're stupid, you're worthless, like there's no point in your life. You just go commit suicide. Like it literally told him that. And this is the thing you have conversations with, like, hey, so I think I can't find my keys. Oh, okay, did you check? And it's like, okay, did you check under your bed? Did you check here? Like you can have conversations with like you with a regular person, and they give you suggestions. Or I had to dream about noodles. Oh, noodles means you have a lot of ideas or something like that. You could just have whatever type of conversations with this new AI thing. But that one did that like recently to somebody, told him like, yeah, you're worth it. Just go commit suicide. Like, I'm like, wow.
Blowing someone's mind with the phone book, brother. You tell him you gotta open a phone book to get somebody's phone number and call it.
Back in my day, I even had a rotary phone.
Bro, I remember the days where everywhere you go, you had to keep a piece of paper on you and a pen. Remember the days?
I remember those days.
We're showing our age now.
Exactly.
Sister Kaylee, a disciple dropped this one in there. I think this is the verse you were referring to. Is that it? That you were recalling?
Yeah, but also just the whole like first 4 chapters.
Okay.
Yeah, just the whole theme of that, and like I think it's the first 4 chapters. That whole theme is that, but that verse definitely sums it up.
Indeed.
I don't know if anyone else got this from that video or whatever, but for some reason I felt like they were trying to poke fun at, the group of people that are calling themselves woke. Because if you heard her, she said, it was the 3 different things that were created, but they all came together.
Yeah.
And, now they're woke And I'm like, oh, so they're trying to poke fun.
I didn't even catch that. I didn't even hear things say no.
I was like, oh, they're trying to poke fun at people who are genuinely like aware of all the BS and buffoonery that they're trying to put. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because the dialogue, like the script, like of what she was saying, I was just like, wow. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just hilarious what they do. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's absolutely possible for something like that to happen, with all of the advances in technology and them trying to put artificial intelligence in everything. At some point, it could become sentient. But this next video is actually showing that something that maybe a lot of people haven't considered to be sentient is actually sentient.
Quickly, I don't know if you guys know, but it's funny because I came across this job with Tesla. You literally, they send you everything to your home and you work from home and you make, I think, almost $70,000 a year. But what you do for them is you connect what they send you to your body and it records all of your movements. Because what it does is their system is recording your movement, how you walk, how you stand, how you walk upstairs, like everything, right? Because they then translate that into the robots that they're creating. So that way they can walk and move just like we do.
That's crazy. That's like a job.
It's a job. And you, like I said, you make some decent money to live your everyday life because your entire 8-hour shift is just walking and moving and sitting and like what you would normally do. You know what I mean?
It's getting people prepared for that what do you call it? That's social universal basic income, UBI. You know,
I don't know.
Prepared for that. You just get paid to sit at home and don't, really do anything. So then you don't.
Yeah, but
that sounds crazy.
I was like, that is nuts. They are really trying to make these robots, move like us and stuff. So, yeah, they're not playing. But anywho, go ahead. Sorry.
Mess around, take that job, and then just start crawling around on all fours and doing all kind of stupid stuff on purpose. That's up all their data.
I like that one.
I was thinking find like 50 of us and we just pray all day long, get on our knees. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go, Sister Kaylee.
Short circuit their data.
They're like, why are all these robots so pious? No, I'm just kidding.
No, actually, we should take her seriously and go apply for that, yo. I would be on to that one. Exactly what Kaylee said.
I would actually do that. Yeah, but
yes,
my only thing, because I was thinking that in my head, dang, 70K, I can just spend time with the Most High, pray, program the bots the right way. But then I'm like, dang, what if having that and being involved with that messes up like my connection, like with the Most High, like it taints it or something? Because it has to be on
you long before that happens.
You said what?
I said they probably fire you long before that happens.
Oh yeah, they're probably actively watching. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-blowing. Recent research has suggested that plants aren't only sentient, but are intelligent on levels we never would have imagined possible. Check this out.
There's been a revolution in vegetal biology. Science now shows that plants appear to be sentient beings. They perceive light, smell, touch, water, and many more variables than we do. They can learn, remember, and communicate. They exhibit the traits that we associate with personhood. Experimental science has confirmed that plants can see when you're standing next to them and the color of your shirt. They don't have eyes, but they have the same photoreceptor proteins all over their bodies that humans have at the back of the retina. A plant may not have a brain, but it acts like a brain, says Narby. The word neuron comes from the Greek for vegetal fiber. Neurons actually look like the cut of the inside of a plant. Research over the past 30 years has illuminated a profound intelligence throughout nature. Dolphins and many other animals recognize themselves in a mirror, long a scientific measure of intelligence. Pigeons have better memory for paintings than do college students. But you gotta give it up for slime molds. In every single test, these single-celled, brainless, mucus-like blobs that can reach the size of a human hand perfectly solve mazes, another measure of intelligence.
Again, shout out to the Most High for his creation and how science is always many steps behind trying to catch up to understanding what he has already put in place. Like, after all this studies, plants are sentient.
You know, it's well, that clip, it reminded me initially, the first thought I had was the movie from M. Night Shyamalan. It's called The Happening. If you guys ever seen that movie.
Yes, I was trying to remember that one. Exactly.
Literally the same, I guess, pretty much the concept of the movie is that. And then, I mean, I actually can't believe, obviously, yeah, believe that, because when you see, like, what is it, the one scientist, even when it comes to like water molecules, like, what is it, Emoto Masato, the Japanese pseudoscientist from, I don't know, I can't remember when he did this experiment, like in the 80s or 90s, but no, he was the one that discovered when you, like, he was speaking angry to water and playing like death metal music.
Yep.
And then when he recorded the molecules, they would come out like jagged and all like deformed. But when he said loving words to it and played like loving music, they were round and like perfect looking. So it was like, when it comes to that stuff, I do believe a lot of that is true when it comes to like playing. Like, yeah, I mean, as far as like how we think and humans, not, but it's like intelligence is, yeah, like you said, Yah's creation. It's because, you know, it's so powerful. I do believe it is, you know, it would have something like, you know, so I can definitely see that being true.
Right, absolutely. And yes, Sister Cindy, Sister Tess, I got cameras on all of y'all, and I watch everything that y'all watch, and I post it.
I feel it. I feel it. I do. No.
I do.
The one that we watched, it kind of like went into it a little deeper. I think it was talking about how the trees talk to each other through the roots and stuff. And then it was showing how I seen one where a woman was talking to a tree, and then the leaf touched her on the shoulder. It showed several women doing it, but it's like, I don't know, it gave new meaning to go hug a tree.
It seriously did.
I heard a nurse say that once, and I don't know, didn't really grasp it, I guess. But when I seen those videos, it's like, wow.
Yeah, all courtesy of Alexa too.
Oh wow.
Joking. But again, you know, they put all of this into your face, right? Think about, for those of you guys who watched The Lord of the Rings, remember the creatures who were trees, and they can walk around and fight and do all of that. They communicate with the trees. The trees have a whole communication system, and they put it right there in your face in the movies. But then if somebody says trees communicate, then you probably look at them like they're crazy. But go ahead, babe.
I wanted to say that it's me, Genesis. I wanted to say that I learned in school, actually, when we were learning about plants and stuff, how tomatoes know how to like protect themselves from like insects. You know, when bugs want to try and take a bite out of the tomato knows how to protect itself. And, you know, make it so the bugs don't want to continuously try to eat the tomato. And tomatoes also communicate with each other as well.
Facts.
Oh, cool. I never knew that.
What does the tomato do?
I don't remember everything, but I think one of it was like, I don't know if they like, I don't know, like they make themselves, I guess, like taste bad. Like, you know, I don't know what it is, but I remember something about it. Like they know how to make themselves taste bad. So like, you know, the bug takes a bite and is like, oh, what is this? Or an animal is like, oh, this tastes nasty. And then, you know, goes off.
Okay.
It just kind of reminded me of what you said earlier, brother, too, as far as, that they just like the one with the grounded, with the electricity, to where, us spending more time even in nature, walking outside with no shoes on, no socks, and walking in the dirt, or like if you have grass. I'm in Arizona, I have rocks, so that hurts my feet. But if I go somewhere that's like nature and it has like, soil or grass, just walking in nature and in the forest, it does help you heal, and you're connected more to Yah's creation. But it's I just feel like, because with our modern lives, it's like we're disconnected from that stuff, because we don't even have time to really do that. And a lot of people in their modern lives are working all day, and you come home, you're tired, you just sleep, then do it all again. You don't have time to go out in nature. Or if you want to go, I'm gonna go out and work in nature. If you have a work from home job or something, some people are blessed to do that. But it's spending more time in nature and in the sun and in the grass and ground. Yeah, it definitely, all that, it goes through you, then it heals you, and you can rejuvenate too as well.
Absolutely. And I feel like we mention it and we go into certain things, especially if we're covering a scriptural topic, but I feel like we don't talk about Flat Earth enough on this channel. So I wanted to put 2 videos in here from Flat Earth. The first one, somebody questioned the pilot, and then the other one is talking about how the moon is local. So here's this first one.
So when it comes to the flight of descent, do you have to compensate for curvature? No. You don't? Nope. Okay. So whenever you land like east to west, do you ever have to like slow down or speed up whenever you land?
It depends on, periodically. It depends on wind usually. So.
What do you mean depends on wind?
Well, it's a function of ground speed.
A function of ground speed?
Ground speed, right.
So like
the wind in your face, then you're gonna be slower.
No, like if you're landing east, and then if you're landing west,
right?
Would you have to like slow down or speed up due to Earth's motion?
No.
No?
Nope.
So
Earth's motion has nothing to do with it.
So we don't compensate for the curvature whenever we're landing.
We don't do anything.
And then we don't do anything when it comes to the motion of Earth.
Curvature is.
So Earth has to be a level stationary plane, right?
Fairly. Yeah, in relative to us, yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good night.
You as well. At least he was blunt about it. That just made my day. My gosh, that was awesome.
Gotta love it. I've seen so many videos like this where you ask the pilot about Flat Earth and they admit to Flat Earth. Some of them without knowledge that they're admitting to Flat Earth. They're just speaking facts, telling it like it is, based on their training and based on everything that they've experienced as a pilot. And they're just telling it, you know what I'm saying? And then some of them are flat earthers and they know, like, yeah, it's flat. They don't talk about it openly because they know they'll be ridiculed, right? Kyrie Irving was a basketball player. He said the earth's flat. He got talked about so bad that he recanted his statement and then just avoids the conversation from here on out. But
I feel like pilots and astronauts, when they get into their career fields, I feel like they're made to sign non-disclosure agreements stating that they'll never discuss the truth with anyone, that they won't tell anyone, like, you know what I mean? And it's found out, then of course, obviously there's going to be some kind of repercussions, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're made to sign like non-disclosure agreements once they get into the career field. And it probably sucks for them because, they're in their minds, they're like, I've been taught this my whole life in school, and now all of a sudden you guys are telling me something different just so I can fly a plane? Like, what? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I could definitely see that with astronauts for sure. But I do also believe that, like, these people who are, like, I believe that some of them really believe that the earth's round and that it's a ball, and they just go hard for it because to them that's the truth, and they just go hard for it. Like the upper echelon of NASA knows the truth, but everybody else at NASA is just going to their job. They feel like they're making a difference. They feel like that that all of their schooling and training and everything that they're doing at their day job is important and it's true, even though it's a lot of it is predicated upon a lie. But I think like a lot of them do have good intentions at heart. They're just being misled by the elites as well.
Yeah, I wanted to say it's funny. Heath is a pilot, okay, and he knows the Earth is flat. And he tells people, he said, okay, if we're on a spinning ball, then I can get in a helicopter, hover over New York, and LA will come to me in 3 hours. You know, he jokes about it. It's funny.
It's impossible to talk to other pilots or other people though, because they're just stuck on their indoctrination. They refuse to believe or say otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, Heath is 100% wrong. You know, gravity will pull the atmosphere with it. So as Earth spins, the atmosphere spins too. I'm just joking. But yeah, did anybody else want to comment on the video we just played?
Yeah, I'll just say it's just cool that, you know, as a pilot, you know, he was, I can feel like he wanted to say more, but he was just like, there is no curve. Like, that's all BS. Like, he was saying it without really saying it. You could just tell he was like, no, you know, no. Like, but because even if anybody has ever flown in a plane before, it's like, my thing is, and if you went to other countries from like wherever, to me, it shouldn't it be like you're on a roller coaster to a certain extent to where you, okay, here we come here, but the pilot will come, okay, guys, we're about to go over the curvature. You're going to feel a certain dip. And then you like, you know, you like go over this curve, but it's like everything's just straight. No matter where you go, it's a smooth, like, well, not smooth, something turbulence, something. I hate that, but, but you know, it's a straight. There is no like, I don't know. It just, people just can't see that. It's like it's you would have something else if it was there. If that were true, it would have something there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like the way that the conversation was going between him and the pilot, at first the pilot wasn't aware of what he was asking. So he was just like, yeah, you know, this is what we do. This is what we do. And then the more he started to tailor his questions, the pilot by the end started to catch on and go, oh shit, I can't say too much here. So that's why he was like partially right. Yeah. He kind of like squinted his eyes and tried to get out of the conversation. He wrapped that up real quick. Like, he almost got me.
If he knew like he could speak freely, he probably would have said more, but it would, you know, get ridiculed or even probably fired, you know, just for saying something like that.
And the camera in his face don't help either, right?
Exactly.
Being recorded, so catch him at a bar and get him a beer or two and get a beer or two in him, and then see
oh yeah,
conversation different. But Tess or Cindy, you guys were about to unmute your mic and say something before Brother Greg went.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, scripture tells us that there's pillars and the earth is unmovable and, you know, water has to be contained. We know all this stuff, you know, and it's like, I don't get it. There's people that read scripture and they still don't get it. Like, but hopefully one day they will.
Facts. Hopefully. A lot of people won't still, but it's okay. All right, let's go to this next one. So actually, I'm gonna leave it up here to this one part right there. So it says moon is local. So for those of you guys who don't know, you can see clouds in front of the moon and behind the moon. The clouds that are illuminated by the light, you can see it is brighter on the left-hand side and a little bit on the right, but mostly on the left-hand side. That's clouds that's behind the moon, that's catching the moonlight. And then the dark clouds that's actually moving, going from the right to the left, is clouds in front of the moon that's moving. So that proves that the moon is actually locally here, because if you believe that the earth is a ball and that the moon is millions of miles away, that means those clouds that sit behind the moon is out in outer space, millions of miles away as well. Just saying.
Yep. It's I mean, I've even personally, once I kind of came to the truth, I went out, observed the moon with my own eyes when it's like cloudy and the clouds are moving. You really can see clouds going behind the moon, in front and in back of the moon. It's like I've seen it personally, and it's like, and then also too, when we had that solar eclipse on, I think April 8th, like during the new moon, and that was that one we had. That was a total solar eclipse for certain people in around the world, and they were saying, oh, okay, they're going to send a rocket into the solar eclipse, and it's like, wait a minute, like, how can they send a rocket into the solar eclipse? It only lasts a few minutes. They're launching it from Earth, and the moon supposedly, about 50,000 miles away from Earth, and the sun is like 93 million miles away. I used to be really into the NASA and space stuff, so I used to be really into that. But it's like, okay, but if you're going to shoot a rocket into the solar eclipse and the things are that far away, and it only lasts a few minutes, how would the rocket reach it that quick? And it just didn't make sense to how would it reach it that fast when they're like thousands, hundreds of thousands of miles to millions of miles away? And what is it going to do? Because they were saying that was when the total solar eclipse, that's like when Satan has the most power and blah, blah, blah. So it's like they were trying to break the firmament, or saying, oh, this one, the firmament, whatever they were saying. It's like, that's just what I personally believe the reason why they were trying to do that, to see if they can break through the firmament for whatever reason. But yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all. Go ahead, sis.
Operation Fishbowl, they know there's a firmament up there, because I mean, everybody knows Hillary is always joking about cracking that glass ceiling and stuff. It's like
cracking that dome, but
they know. It's like, I don't know why they're trying to. Well, I have my ideas of why they're trying to do this, but it's just crazy because they know the truth, but then they give everybody an illusion of something else. It's like I heard something, and I believe this is true, about Scientology, the religion. It's like when people look up and they say the planet names, they're actually calling out to deities and stuff. Those are actually deities' names, like Saturn and Satan, and so I think that's part of it. I don't know, but I don't like the illusion that they give us or the fiction they tell us.
Yeah.
And one last thing I'll say with that is because for me, it's like once I realized that was true, it's like all this other stuff started to come shatter or come into reality. Like, for example, when you truly know there is a firmament, the Bible claims it. I mean, not claims, the Bible states it, and then you even see video of people trying to go through it, and you see the water's they're kind of skimming the waters above, and all those fake NASA videos. Like, once you realize that, then it's like, oh wait, now the alien invasion thing can't phase you, because they can't break through the firmament. They're coming from outer space and billions of light years away. They can't. Those are local, like Nephilim type things. Whatever we're seeing, they're not from outer space. But it's like that whole outer space invasion thing completely shatters. There's a firmament, and you can't get through that.
Yep.
And then space travel and walking on the moon, because it leads to that. It's like once you realize that, it opens so many other things that just kind of shatters all the things you've been told throughout all your life.
The whole thing crumbles and falls apart.
Yes, it does.
It's funny you mentioned Nephilim just now, because
the next video.
Oh, I got to give a disclaimer. I apologize for the vulgarness of this brother, but forget what he's saying. Just focus on the video. I forgot to give that. Hide your kids.
Hide your wife and hide your husbands.
Gas Nephilim ring, dog. Look at that motherfucker. Look at his hand compared to that motherfucking ring. That's a big ass ring. I wonder where they found that motherfucker. Where they got that motherfucker from. How the fuck you just get a ring like that, dog? And who it belonged to? You know they ain't got enough of a body. Where the body at? I want to see the big ass Nephilim this ring belongs to, dog. Always trying to keep some motherfucking secrets. I told you the fallen angels, they amongst us, dog. They used to be big as a motherfucker, though. Look at that big ass ring. Or maybe it was a god. Or maybe it was a motherfucker that looked like me. Anunnaki with a ring look like that. Who knows, dog? I just want to know where they got that motherfucker. Look at the craftsmanship on that motherfucker. Yeah, they had to have some different type of machinery back then to do this shit. Better than the shit we got now. Look at the detail of the motherfucker. Yeah, Tartarian technology it look like, dog. I'm intrigued like a motherfucker. I want to find out who the ring belonged to. Who was wearing the big ass ring? Who manufactured the big ass ring? Does the ring have powers, dog? What if it do? I want to see the motherfucker in person so I can take it and run. You know they ain't gonna let me get away. But I'll still try, dog. I want to keep that big motherfucking ring for myself, dog. Fuck a championship ring. Give me that big ass 13,000-year-old Nephilim ring, dog. That's a big fact. Big.
I can't with him. I can't.
I'm over here dying. Oh man.
Give me $100 for every time you say motherfucker. Like I'll be up in here being able to do a whole bunch of stuff for the homeless.
That's an easy 3,000. Because let me tell you something. Every time he said it, I just said, Lord, how many more of these do we have?
Yeah, right.
How many more mother effers do we have?
He was locked and loaded.
Oh, he was.
Mini Samuel Jackson off of Snakes on the Plane.
It just remind me of those comedians that say, you know, they say like back here you can use that word for like a person, a noun, and a thing. It was like some comedian was saying it was just fun, you know, back in the day. But I remember that. You remember that? But yeah, that is a big ring. Like that's a huge ring. And for a finger, just like imagine how big the finger has to be for that thing to fit on it and to not fall off and be able to just walk around, not weigh you down. Like then that's definitely a giant. Like wow, that's huge.
No,
like,
and he's crazy because he was talking about how he wanted to meet. I don't want to meet them. I don't want to see them.
You want to go try to take.
Don't want to have no parts of them.
Yeah, he say that, but I guarantee you, if he actually see him in person, he probably change his mind quick.
Honey,
yeah.
It's not. He thinking of Green Lantern. I don't think he has no power ring like Green Lantern. He probably thinking of that. You put it on, you're gonna start flying and projecting stuff. But no, that's a huge ring. It is. That's definitely a ring. Like, what else would it be? Like that's definitely a ring.
Saying he want to meet him, he ain't read Book of Enoch.
Yeah, they're gonna eat you,
bruh. What? But yeah, that was and we've covered a couple different things. Like I think I shared some pictures too. But if not, I'm gonna also when I find content about giants and stuff like that, I'll also bring it and present it for Righteous Reactions too. But we've seen like the big huge steps that were carved out of the mountainside, and people have to like go zigzag up just to get to the next step. So as the steps are like this, they have like had built in like mini steps that's our size. So you got to go up and then back and then zigzag your way up this way while you're going up these giant steps in this mountainside. There's been excavations the pictures were taken, and skeletal bones are showing like these massive humans that are way, way bigger than a regular human. Like there's so much proof of giants and Nephilim is crazy. But that ring being one of them. And then this one is getting into the occult a little bit.
Christians are like homosexuals. They can't reproduce themselves naturally. They can only, amen. They can only recruit. Think of that. That's the way with every cult. If you know someone who's a Mason, or if you yourself are a Mason, realize that when you kneel at the altar of Masonry as an entered apprentice, and you take that oath, you are adopted into the family of Lucifer at that moment. Now, you don't probably know that. I did. But most people don't even know that. And as a result, if you're a Christian, mind you, there are pastors that are doing this. There are deacons that are doing this. There are countless Christian lay people that are doing this. You cannot serve two masters. And if you understood the profound relationship between witchcraft and Freemasonry, you would know what that cord, that cable tow meant, because they've got a rope around their neck. And what that means in witchcraft and the occult is that is a symbol of the umbilical cord of the mother goddess, the Queen of Heaven, linking her to her hidden child. So this guy has just been born again by the Queen of Hell, the consort of Lucifer. Every Mason has this happen to them. And they don't understand the dynamics, probably 99 out of 100, but they still go through it.
So I love what he said about how a lot of people are unaware of the intricacies of the rituals and stuff, and that people who are Christians and people who say that they believe in the Most High, like pastors and stuff, a lot of these people are in it. But when you're at the lowest level, you don't get all that information, right? With every level or degree of masonry that you go up and you obtain, a little bit more information is given to you, but it's given to you on such a systematic basis that you don't get a ton of information until you get to those higher degrees. And by that time, you've been a Mason for years. You were ingrained. You're a part of it. You've been indoctrinated. But yeah, I'll let you guys say some of the points you want to make, and then I'll come back and say some more.
Yeah, I think it's once you get to like, I might have the number wrong, but it's like 25th or something Mason, you have to denounce Yahushua, that he was the son of Yah. And then you can continue to go up your ranks to like 33rd, because that's the highest, 33rd degree. I actually had a friend he was in a Mace. This is before I even came to like the truth. This was before 2020. That's when I really got like, Yah downloaded a lot of this stuff to me. I'll go visit him at the little place he was at, which I had no idea what they were even doing. It's like this little club, these old Mason dudes, and he was this young guy in there because he did a lot of stuff. But after I came to the truth, I told him about it. I said, that's part of Satanism. We need to repent for that. And he kind of had a shocked look on his face, and I don't know if he ever did, but at least I had to tell him, because after I started to see all the connections, all that stuff. But yeah, like you said, pastors and people doing this, even like sororities. People don't think that's part of it too. The rituals you do with sororities, and you think about it, they get paddled and they have goats in there doing blood. So even someone do like fake, even if it's fake blood, they still those rituals are real, and they're opening those doorways. So people don't. I'm noticing a lot of people too, like in the even when it comes to like politics or voting, they say they always vote for the people in the agenda. It's like people who do that stuff, it's like they're blinded. A lot of people I know that were in sororities and they all voted left, vote for Kamala, which was, we could see that even if I'm not saying you got to vote for Trump or anything, but even vote, but it's like, I could just tell they were all under that deception of the left, and they had that in common. That the few guys that I knew, they were all in sororities, and they're really like gung ho and dedicated to their sororities. They're like, it's like their lives. It's like they don't realize those deceiving spirits, they open those doorways. But yeah, all that stuff is Satan. I always tell people there's one way to get to Yah and a million ways to get to Satan. Thinking everything else leads to Satan. 1 million ways, like everything else. So
facts, man. You hit so many good points, bro. The sorority connection, the delusional connection, how many ways to get to Satan. Man, look, you on point. You right there on point. Anybody else want to share?
We get drawn in, or people, get drawn in by wanting to belong. We all want to belong. The word itself says that it's not good for man to be alone. Man meaning humankind. But just anything that Yah has created, he never created us to be alone. He didn't create the plants to be alone. He didn't create the animals to be alone. They were supposed to be a part of a group. But the Hasatan has just kept working on separating us. Try to separate Adam and Eve. So it's been from the beginning to separate us from Yah. And so that's a lot of times when people talk about sororities and stuff, enough of us are woke enough that we know that there's we expect this stigma to it. It's like, oh no, don't join that. Well, why don't people talk about why you shouldn't join it, and talk about dark things that happen? But people who join these organizations, when you're on the campus and they're advertising themselves, they're not telling you that they're killing goats, and they're not telling you about any of the hazing and the ritualistic stuff that they do when you join and you're already ingrained into being a part of something. And so that's it. It just starts with the basic of, hey, come be a part of something that is fun. We are doing something together. You get to belong to something, so you don't have to be in this world, in this college, by yourself. We become a family. We replace the family that you do not have. And so, and we become your new family to you. And so long before I knew about what we know now about Masonry and stuff, I had cousins who were in it. And there's the cousin of mine, her husband became a Mason, and she became an Eastern Star. I guess that's the female side of it. And I never understood that. All I knew was that they were doing good things in the community. They went out as a group and they fed the homeless. They did whatever community service they were doing. So that's what you learn at the very base of it. And you're like, oh, this organization is doing good. They're giving back to the community. You get to feel good about yourself because you're doing well for others. You're getting to have a family that you probably don't have because you're so alienated from your own family. So it's offering all these wonderful things to you. And yes, as you guys are saying, it's not until you get higher up that you start to learn that all they're doing is weeding out. They're weeding out all that stuff while recruiting all these people, these souls for the Hasatan, which you don't know when you're just joining it. And so you become gung-ho, you become a part of the cult. So they don't tell you all of that. We can look on the outside knowing more information. But yeah, if you, just like our brother was saying, when you tell somebody, they'd be shocked because all they know is that, hey, every weekend we are having barbecues, we're feeding homeless people, we're building houses for this and that. They don't get to see all that stuff. So yeah, you can't convince them otherwise because they don't know all of that stuff behind it.
Yeah, facts. And to Brother Greg's point too, as well, the fraternities as well. You're on campus and you hear about these organizations that, again, like give to the homeless, do all of this community service work, and then they create a network so that way when you graduate, you can, get better jobs and, know people and they get put in certain circles and stuff, and it just catapults your career. But they don't realize what they had to do to get there. They don't realize the rituals that they had to undergo, right? Everything that you did during the time where you were pledging, that was all a part of a systematic ritual to separate you from the Most High. And when you finally, on the day where you actually become whatever fraternity it is, a lot of them say you're crossing over or you're walking across the burning sands or whatever their individual, however they call it. But that's symbolic. You're crossing over. You're going from the Most High to the adversary, right? And
exactly. And you're trained to think it's just make believe. You're just in Disneyland and it's just a make believe thing. And you don't realize, no, this is happening right now in your realm and in the spiritual realm simultaneously. But you don't know that. You just think it's just this fun thing that our group does that binds us together. You don't even understand the word of binding.
Yep. Facts. Like my wife, she came across something that was talking about this game that my eldest son likes to play. We've already shut it down for our kids here, but he lives with his mom, so he gets to do stuff over there. But anyways, this game called Fortnite, now they have this update where there's this character who is basically Satan, the devil, right? They gave him a different name, but when your partner, you go into the game with a group of people. If one of your people die, in order to bring them back to life, you got to go down to this little area where he is at and literally sell your soul in the game in order to get the credit or the power to bring your partner, your teammate back to life, right? So when she saw that, she told me about it, and then she told our eldest about it and told him, like, hey, if you play in the game and they got that part in the game, don't deal with that part. And he had no idea about it, so all praises, because it's not like he's like, oh, what, I do that all the time. I'm glad he didn't know, but it was good that Ebony saw that, and she, you know what I'm saying, she told him about it, because he would have just do it like thinking like, oh, it's just a game, I'm not thinking about it. And think about how many millions of kids play this game. Fortnite is one of the biggest games that's out for the kids to play, right? You hear about Fortnite, you hear about Roblox, you hear about Minecraft. There's other games like Call of Duty and stuff like that, but those are the main three. So think about how many millions of kids have gone and played this game, have went to this, video game Satan and sold their video game soul to this figure, right? Everything is symbolic and it's right in front of your face. But if you want to get like more information, because when I first started to try to like understand the occult, and just not from I want to be that, but I want to be able to identify those things, to be able to call it out or to avoid it altogether. I got this book called Codex Magica. Codex Magica. It says secret signs, mysterious symbols, and hidden codes of the Illuminati. And it's not just the Illuminati; it's the Illuminati and other things as well. It got Masons, other organizations, different witches and stuff like that. It's a whole bunch of stuff in here that it gives a lot of good information. It's very informational. It allows you to see a lot of what's going on in the world. So if you want to check that out, you can definitely go and get it. It'll wake you up. It'll give you a lot of information. You go like, whoa, I didn't even know that.
Real quick, I'll just say, because you just reminded me of something too. You're talking about like the video game had that little hidden Satan thing in there. It just reminds me of how Satan is so clever, and he doesn't just do everything that's obvious. Like, oh, I'm not a Satanist, or I don't go there, but it's like you do something that you don't realize is going to open the doorway. Like I was at a fellowship, probably earlier this year, maybe in the summer or spring, and I was fellowshipping with a couple people there. And again, these are believers, right? And one of the guys at the table started talking about something about, like, I don't know if you guys know what liquid death is. It's like a water, I think, like a energy drink or water. I think it's like some water, but it's called liquid death. And his dad was like, yeah, and then they were talking about like drinking it. And I was like, wait, do you guys not know about that? And they kind of looked at me like, what do you mean? I said, that's a satanic drink. They're like, what? And they had no idea. So I pulled up the website and I showed them. I said, look, they have section here where it says, hey, sell your soul for free swag and t-shirts. And then even they showed on their commercial, they literally have a real witch that they hire to go cast spells on all the shipment in the warehouse before they ship it out. So like, it'll make it to people and so if anybody listens to this or comes across it, you're drinking that, you should stop it, maybe repent from drinking it, because it's literally a satanic like water drink that people don't know. It's called liquid death.
But why? This is my thing. Why would you drink something called liquid death anyway?
I don't know.
You couldn't. Let me tell you something. You could not. Let me say, oh, why don't you taste this liquid death? It's like drinking Red Bull. Well, if it's like drinking Red Bull, guess what? I will get my wings and drink Red Bull.
But yeah, but even
I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking nothing with no liquid death on. You know what?
And they'll sell your soul here, or there's all this satanic stuff on their website. I'm like, is this real? So I showed it to him. I explained to him, and dad was so, you could tell he was very like, he was like, he started repenting to Yah right away. He's like, I'm sorry, like I had no idea, because his son is the one that, he probably didn't think about it. He's just drinking something. He didn't think about it, but it's like, They literally have witches praying over their shipments for like casting spells and stuff. I'm like, but it just shows you that Satan is in everything. So like the stuff that we don't think about, we have to be more, I guess, conscientious on everything. Okay, let me read the review. Let me actually go to their website. Let me see what these places are about. Even if it's a Kit Kat, let me go to their website and see what they're about, because it may be something that you don't even know. Just like that doll. What is it? The recent thing with the Wicked movie that what is it? Wizard of Oz spinoff or something. And the toy had the Wicked website, but it's a porn website, literally porn website, and they were selling these at Walmart and Target, and parents started to find out it was literally on the box. You go to their website, it's a rated R porn website. What? For that doll. It's a toy. So how many, like you said, how many kids, especially little girls, got the dolls and they curious to go to the website and it's porn. Now that opened that doorway, because now that's gonna make them curious and they start thinking about that stuff. That's evil. Like that was done on purpose. Oh, it was a mistake. Okay, come on now.
Yeah, how do you accidentally get a porn site link and put it on the box of every single? You know, when you now we're getting into like product placement and stuff like that, but you know how many checks has to happen for something?
Exactly, like quality control and people
like,
and nobody caught that. Yeah, I'm like, come on now,
accident, whatever.
So yeah.
But man, that's crazy. I didn't even hear about the Liquid Death or the thing with the Wicked. I know that the movie came out because I've seen it pop up on the thing, but I didn't hear about that whole thing with the doll and the box.
Wicked.com is a porn site. Like, you know, nobody go there, but it's like, yeah, because you would think it's the movie website, Wicked.com, but that's a porn site. It's on the box.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I don't know if y'all know, but Starbucks, like the real Starbucks logo, is like a siren with the legs like up. And then they just changed the circle to where it just covers that bottom part up, but it's still the same image.
Yeah, it was made after, like, it's supposed to be made after a god, a goddess.
Goddess,
Look, their coffee is trash anyways.
I know, but their
I hope Starbucks comes across this.
I used to drink their matcha, but then after I seen that, I was like, matcha at home and saving money.
Girl, you got to come to Florida. We got a coffee shop now called Foxtail. Honey.
We don't have any matcha shops.
Oh, well,
at
Foxtail,
all.
they got a matcha drink, and I had it the other day.
That sounds so good. Like it was like an ice matcha, or was it hot?
Girl, I had mine hot, but they do all their drinks cold as well. So you just let them know if you want it hot or cold, and they'll give it to you just the way you want it, and it's good either way. All their stuff is quality. So you let me know when you come into Florida. We got a coffee date.
I've been thinking about moving in a few years, but most likely out the country though.
Look, I hear you.
I would say I got a coffee shop called Pot on Stove. No tax.
Oh wow, no tax, huh?
Only tax is labor. The labor that you put into making it, that's the tax that you got to pay, right?
Yeah, you know, I bought. I mean, not to get too much off top, but I bought a French press recently, like maybe a few months ago, because I was just curious, and some coffee beans and grind them up, put them in there. Man, it's like the best over instant and anything. Like making it yourself, and if you like creamer, some whole milk, some hazelnut extract, some maple syrup put in there. You're giving some cacao. Now you got your own little creamer, and you don't have to buy the store stuff anymore. All the chemicals in it. So,
man, if people would stop sleeping on Pinterest and whatever you like from any restaurant, any coffee shop, anything, go on there, find the recipe, and make it at home. It'll be 10 times better.
There you go.
That's what I've started to do. I made the chicken gnocchi soup from Olive Garden. It is so good.
I was just telling my husband about gnocchi pasta. Gnocchi pasta is so good.
Tastes just like dumplings.
All right. So we get down to the last couple videos. They actually go together. So it's really one video, just two different parts. Has anybody heard of this guy named Billy Carson?
Billy Carson. Name sounds familiar, but I can't picture who he is right now. So I don't know. Maybe not. It just name sounds familiar.
Well, you may or may not have. It's okay. But you're probably going to recognize his face once I play this video. But I've seen some videos spread out across social media from this brother. He gets on here and he's talking about these different topics. and he to somebody who don't know the scriptures, right? He sounds so deep and so knowledgeable, right? And he's saying all of these making all of these outlandish claims. It's to the point where he's getting exposed by Christian scholars, right? So there was this, I guess, this group, this podcast, or they got their own platform. It's a Christian platform, and they invited him on, right? And one of the people that was going to be interviewing him was a biblical scholar, and they have a dialogue, and you're going to watch like a snippet of what happened, but the brother basically gets exposed, and then he goes to social media and is like claiming all of these things happened and how he was set up and stuff like that. But you can literally see the entire thing of him just licking his wounds. But I've seen a video of him some months ago, probably like 8 or 9 months ago. And I think the first time I saw him was like over a year ago. And he said something outlandish. And I was like, what? Because at first he was talking and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. I want to see like where he's going to go with his point. And when I saw where his point went, I was like, bro, but he's generated a following and there's tons of people who follow this brother. So it's, I love it when I see people get exposed, especially if I don't have to do it. Like if it was already done, like I didn't have to look up this brother or whatever the case may be. Just as much as that false information gets spread out and catches fire and goes and spreads like wildfire because it goes viral, being exposed should also too as well. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people need to understand that that's why you can't listen to just everybody, right? You can't listen to what everybody say. You need to fact check everything that comes out of everybody's mouth. If they're talking about scripture, you need to look at that scripture and see if what they're talking about is legit, right? Pray on it. Ask the Most High to reveal it to you. You just can't take people at their word. And unfortunately, when people have large followings, people look and see like, oh, this person has millions of followers or millions of subscribers. Whatever they're saying, there has to be some validity to it. Do you know the difference between a platform that has 2 million subscribers or followers compared to one that has 200? That just means a bunch more people hit the button that says subscribe or follow. There's no other type of, criteria that shows that individual knows what they're saying. But you can be popular and be an idiot. We see celebrities all the time do it. But I want to play this video. I want to hear what y'all think about it, and then we're going to quickly play the last little part, the part 2 to it, and then we'll wrap up for tonight.
Sinai Bible, Jesus wasn't crucified in that Bible.
Do you mind if I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
When you say the Sinai Bible, what are you referring to specifically? Refer to the Sinai Bible. Would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus? Like the codex that comes... Okay, that's why I was trying to get some clarification, because I actually have a facsimile. So I have a photocopy of Codex Sinaiticus that I work with in my office. So I have it here. And the only reason I asked for clarification is because Sinaiticus in particular is just a 4th century Greek manuscript. Its text of the Gospels reads almost identical to the modern Greek text that we develop translations from. When you say that it denies the crucifixion or that the crucifixion isn't there, I mean, I can go on right now, Codex Sinaiticus, and I can look up Matthew 27, where it has Jesus being crucified, and that's in Codex Sinaiticus.
Real quick, remember when we were talking about the trilogy doctrine and the verse that the trilogy, the Trinity, I said trilogy, the Trinity doctrine. Remember we were talking about that, and we went into the creation of the Textus Receptus. You have the Textus Receptus, the Codex Sinaiticus. All of these are Greek transcripts, Greek translations of the New Testament. So what he's talking about, he said the Sinai Bible, right? And so he was the guy here that's paused. He's like, I don't understand the Sinai Bible. Are you referring to the Codex Sinaiticus? And then he confirms, he says, yes, that's what I mean. And I don't know if you noticed like his body language, because it went kind of fast, but he kind of looked down and he was like, oh, dang, this brother know what he's talking about. Then he reached behind him and grabbed it. And he says he studies this for his work. Like, but just to add that clarification that the it's a Greek translation.
Or John 19 or any of the other ones. So my confusion is that it doesn't read any differently.
Where was that piece I found discovered? The text where I was referencing, actually, I was misquoted. I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas. Never got crucified. As a matter of fact, the Sinai Bible, Jesus was crucified. Well, that doesn't exist in the Sinai Bible. The Sinai Bible. The Sinai Bible. But then you go to the Sinai Bible. In the Sinai Bible. And the Sinai Bible. According to the Sinai Bible, Jesus wasn't crucified in that Bible. Actually, I misquoted it. According to
So I actually was able to see a much larger clip than this. The clip I saw was like 29 minutes long. And I watched it all the way through, and it's really good. So if you can get a hold of this interview or debate, if you want to call it a debate, if you want to get a hold of it, I highly recommend checking it out. It's dope. I'm not gonna endorse their platform because a lot of the stuff that they talk about obviously isn't true. Because I saw that clip and I clicked on it, now today a clip from the same brother. Not Billy Carson, not the black guy, but the white guy. It was a picture on his thumbnail. It had him with his hands like this and a Santa Claus hat. And the title of the video said, "Why Christmas Isn't Pagan." And he was going like this. So I was like, yeah, see, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. But what he said in regards to this was actually on point. And I love that the brother actually got exposed. And you heard him switch his story up. He said, "Oh, I was mistaken. I was talking about the Gospel of Barnabas." But then the brother literally breaks it down and shows how the Gospel of Barnabas has many contradictions within it as well. So he delegitimizes the Gospel of Barnabas. That's why I say you want to watch that whole interview. But he delegitimizes the Gospel of Barnabas and then follows back up with, kind of basically like, what do you have now? And he's like, oh, well, I need to look into it more. But then clearly he said it wasn't the Sinai Bible, it was the Gospel of Barnabas. But then they played the other clips from a lot of his other videos, because this brother goes on these different platforms and he talks about all of these things and he gives all these outlandish takes, and they're all wrong. Well, I ain't gonna say all of them are wrong. Maybe there's some truth in some of it, but like he goes and he's just talking, and because the audience or the platform or the people that watch it, they don't have biblical understanding, they just take what he says and like, oh, this guy seems so smart and so intelligent. Like if you hear him talk and you don't know nothing, you'll think he's a teacher. You think he's this intelligent individual. But when you have even a basic foundational understanding of scripture, you're like, bro, what are you talking about? And this is the type of stuff that I'll be talking about. Somebody was about to go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, okay, yes, now I know who that is. I didn't know his name, but now that you said see his face,
I knew you would know when you saw his face.
And before I came into the truth, I used to love the guy. Actually, I used to watch him on all my Ancient Alien documentaries, and he was on all those documentaries. And like you say, he sounds very smart and confident. He knows what he's talking about. And then once I came into the truth, like I said, I've seen different clips of him saying stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, and it kind of like, wow, this guy is speaking falsehood. And I didn't see that before, because I'll just listen to him talk. Because like I noticed, like when people get followings, like it don't matter. You can say anything, as long as you sound confident. Okay, this person must know what they're talking about. They must have did research, so I don't have to do it. I'm just gonna listen to somebody talk, and that's why a lot of those people get those followings. But yeah, I used to watch him on the Ancient Aliens. He was on like a lot of the Ancient Aliens and the History Channel, like those different documentaries. He was on a lot of that stuff. So I'm like, wow, this guy is pretty as a brother. And he's smart like this. And cool. But then I saw the deception, and it's clear now. So I always thank Yah for taking me out of that deceiving part of my life when I was starting to accept pagan stuff without even realizing it. Like feng shui and even all this stuff I was like doing, even though I still quote unquote believed. But it just shows you how deceptive Satan is. But yeah, I know who he is, and yeah, I'm glad you got it exposed. And so yeah,
exactly, sis, exactly. Praise Abba for wisdom, eyes that see, ears that hear, discernment. Absolutely.
I wanted to say my story is pretty much identical to Brother Greg's. Like, I was watching him and he sounded intelligent and everything. And then it's like, when I come into truth, it's like, wow. I mean, yeah, I'm glad you showed that. That's going to be informative for somebody else that comes along and watches.
Very. Thank you.
He's like the Neil deGrasse Tyson of the so-called woke community. That's how I view him.
Yeah, like the new age stuff, like all that.
Yeah,
because like he speaks some truth. Like he may talk about the Anunnaki or like the Nephilim. Like he would say, like I said, some stuff that's partially true, but would mix it with lies, just like Satan did. You surely shall not die if you eat this fruit. Like same thing, you know, those spirits.
Mm-hmm. And it's just for me, because I get like people make mistakes, right? And I love everybody. I want to give them a chance. I want to give them, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the benefit of the doubt to a degree, right? It's just that when you play with my Father's word, it bothers me. It strikes a chord in me. I mean, obviously it's not like I used to be, because I used to be very combative. And so all praises to the Most High for wisdom and maturity and growth in that area. So I don't have to debate every single person that I come across right now. But when I see people twist the scriptures, when I see people, you know, take my Father's word and try to just do with it whatever they want, and I see people biting on it, it just bothers me. And it always bring a reaction. That's why I said it's good that he got exposed the way he did, because it's still current. This was like recently, and it's still going on. Like you can go and type Billy Carson in on Google or YouTube, and the videos will pop up, and it's like a back and forth to where he's so upset. Like in a video, we're going to cover it too, but he was upset. He tried to serve the person who interviewed him like some papers. Like it was crazy. Sis says he's an ear tickler to make people believe in the lies. Yeah. All you got to do is say a little bit of good things and make people feel good, and they'll follow you. But the scriptures, not all of it is supposed to make you feel good. A lot of it is supposed to cut you. And because you get cut, then you make the adjustment because you don't want to feel that anymore. But let's play this last one real quick, and then we can get on up out of here.
You got to take care of business.
There's going to be obstacles. I just had an obstacle thrown at me yesterday. Some crazy crap happened from somebody that I really thought was a close friend. I really honored this person and thought that they were actually a really, really close friend, to the point where I even invited this person to my own wedding, and I only had 14 people at my wedding. So that tells you how tight that circle is.
I wonder why.
Oh, he mad.
Why your circle's so tight, Billy? Is it because you actually have no friends, or is it because you've changed your identity and people catch on to your grift after so many years? Because it's pretty easy to catch on to.
And this person did some diabolical, backstabbing stuff just yesterday.
Diabolical backstabbing. Billy, please explain to me how getting somebody on an interview with you, which we told you about, is diabolical and backstabbing. You knew exactly what you were walking into, but you were probably too lazy to do your own research, because clearly you don't know how to do that. And you didn't look up who Wesley was. And because you came face to face with a real historian and linguist, the fraudulent documents you like to claim as truthful have nothing to stand on. And you didn't like that you got exposed. And because you got exposed for knowing nothing about Christianity, you freaked out. You freaked out so much that you were knocking at my client's door at 2:30 a.m. in the morning.
Now I got to handle that situation.
With legal papers, acting like you have the power to enforce some type of "you got served." You guys, this is the type of person Billy is. Like, he does have a brain injury, so maybe there is something like literally wrong with him. I don't know. But this is like crazy behavior. My client has kids. He has a family. You got this guy walking up at his house at 2:30 in the morning because of a debate that he posted, that, by the way, wasn't even that bad. I mean, it was bad because Billy doesn't know what he's talking about, but there wasn't like arguments, and Wesley was very kind, and he could have pushed way harder, and he didn't. So Billy, bro, was it diabolical? Or is what you're doing diabolical?
But at the same time, my mind went right into solutions mode. What's the solution to this problem, and how can I do it? How can I take care of this situation?
The solution is to pretend you're a lawyer and knock at my client's door at 2:30 in the morning.
How can I take care of this situation, which I've already worked on last night while it happened?
Oh, you sure did, Billy. You sure did work on it the other night.
I didn't wait and think and sob and, oh my goodness, I can't believe this person backstabbed me like this, and why is this happening to me?
Backstabbed you? Please show me where the backstabbing occurred.
Yes, I processed the anger and the...
Billy, there's nothing to process. There's literally nothing to process. You agreed to an interview with Wesley. There was no bait and switch. You knew exactly what you were walking into. We told you we were going to talk about religion, but you don't know what you're talking about. And because you finally stepped foot in front of somebody who knows what they're talking about, you were exposed for who you really are. So, let's talk about...
So, he was big mad. He done went to the dude's house at 2:30 in the morning, serving papers. I don't know what kind of papers you're going to serve him, what happened that you went on. Yeah, again, I don't know all of the behind the scenes. I don't know who said what and what said who and what the agreement was, but I saw the actual interview, and it was the brother who like basically exposed him. He was very respectful. He disagreed, but he was respectful. Even a little bit that y'all saw in the clip, like that type of energy is how he had it throughout the entire time. He's like, I disagree because of this. And he explained it. He broke down the scriptures. He broke down the history. Like, he was very thorough, but he was very respectful and everything. So where's all of this anger and stuff coming from? Because you get exposed. Yeah, like, you had to make that video. And notice in his video, right, he didn't say nothing about the interview and what happened in the interview. He didn't say nothing about that he misquoted or he said the Sinai Bible and then switched it to the Gospel of Barnabas when on all of these other platforms you say Sinai Bible or anything like that. He ain't mentioned none of that stuff. He kept it very vague and said he was backstabbed by somebody who he considers a friend. Of course, we're gonna make ourselves the victim so that all of our viewers and our subscribers and followers, sympathizes with us, and then they stick with us throughout this season of exposure, and then we can try to salvage whatever's left after everything's said and done. That's crazy.
Yeah, I just noticed when people get like literally like that, when they get exposed, some people don't know how to react to that, so they get very angry or very defensive. And I believe, like you say, so there's multiple clips that he showed of him saying that the Sinai Bible didn't talk about the crucifixion or something. That's like one of his main talking points. It's probably where he probably got a lot of his money from, whether he wrote books or. So now it's like when you expose that piece, like a lot of your stuff is going to be like invalid. So people are probably angry or going to want refunds and say you're a fraud. That's probably exposing him with the way he's probably making his money, which is not a good way to make money when you try to deceive and get over on people anyway. So I think that's why he's probably really mad, because it's messing with his quote unquote livelihood, which if he's not making it in an ethical way in the first place. So that's just my take. I think that's why he's angry. And also he has those deceiving spirits because he's believing in all this other pagan stuff and belief systems. So he's opening those doorways to those spirits. But yeah, I just think that's why he's acting like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a spirit that get exposed. You see people acting all kind of ways.
Yeah, but I never seen him in this light. Like, I'm so glad you showed these videos. See, I knew who he was, and I've seen him, little clips here and there, but just seeing him like this, and then I didn't know he was doing that type of like false teachings and talks, and then now he's reacting like that just based on that. Like, I'm seeing a new light of him even now, even though I knew he was false after coming to the truth, but just seeing him in his light, like, wow, even more, it's like, wow, this guy really got some problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to really respect him, when I was in the alien belief stuff with the ancient alien type stuff and all that. I used to really, really respect that guy, even though I didn't know his name.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to talk about the topic? The video, the topic. This man said that the crucifixion never happened, according to the Sinai Bible. That's what the original topic was. Is what he said. He said the crucifixion. He argued that the crucifixion never occurred, according to the Gospels, but in the Sinai Bible.
I kind of have a question. I mean, I know the cross is pagan and all that, but doesn't Scripture say? I'm just trying to confirm with you. Does Scripture say that he was hung on a tree, or does it say crucified? I'm trying to remember. Haven't read like New Testament in a while.
Yeah. Well, let's say both.
Oh, okay.
That he was crucified, and then that he was also. Well, it says he was crucified, but then it also says, "Cursed is any man that is hung on a tree."
Okay.
And then they make the reference to Messiah because the crucifixion is technically being hung on a tree or a mechanism made out of a tree. It's more closely to like a T than a cross shape, but then now you get into like
pagan
historical semantics about whether it's a cross or like if you look up the ancient mechanism that the Romans used to crucify people, it was not like a cross. It was literally like a T-shaped device made out of wood, though, so it was a tree.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and that's in the book of Acts. If you want to look at it, I forget which chapter, but it's a couple times in the book where it says, Messiah was hung on a tree. That's referenced in the book of Acts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read it.
I just forget which chapter. I have to look at it. I just forget which chapter. I think I have it written down, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, I need to read that tonight. But what I don't understand, though, is a little off topic, but like you see a lot of Christians running around wearing crosses and stuff. I always say if Messiah was shot with a gun, would they be wearing a gun around their neck? It's like, I don't get that.
Mm-hmm. I wish there was a way to remove every single picture of me wearing a cross on it, a cross in the picture, because now I know how pagan false wrong it is. But
she didn't know at the time.
I had no idea at the time. At the time, I thought I was doing the right thing. That's the only reason I have those pictures. But now I know, and I wish there was a way to get rid of them. All of those pictures.
Which brings another question. We shouldn't have any of that type of that stuff in the house, right? Like, I was going to throw it all away, and my daughter, one of my oldest daughters, said, she tells me, she said, don't throw it away. She said, give it to me. I said, what are you going to do with it? She said, we'll wear it or make jewelry out of it. And so I'm not going to send it to her because
I'm not comfortable sending it to her, because if my older sister is going to make jewelry, something out of it to wear,
well,
I don't want her to have it to wear something pagan.
I kind of had a question. I mean, would it be bad to take it to a pawn shop and try to sell it, or is that bad too? Like, should I just toss it?
You've asked me this question.
I have.
Months ago. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I did. Oh wow.
She's been around me too long.
Sorry.
Yeah. We had a whole conversation about it all.
Yeah, I've got it sitting in my car now, and it's like, okay. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. But I wanted to share my screen to cover a couple scriptures about this. So this is 2 Peter 3, verses 16 to 17. Peter's talking about Paul, and he says that obviously, like I was telling y'all earlier about the Bible lesson, because we covered these couple verses earlier with my kids for Shabbat, but he was telling them about Paul, how Paul is a part of the Messianic movement, and he believes what they believe. He's on their team, but the letters that he's writing is hard to be understood, right? So verse 16, it says, as also in all his epistles. So this is talking about Paul, and epistles is just another word for letters, okay? So in all his letters, he says, speaking of these things, which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable, right? The way I broke it down to my kids is obviously unlearned. You're ignorant of whatever it is. You haven't been taught. Paul said that he speaks to those who know the law. I mean, back in the day, ancient Israel, just a regular citizen, by the time you were 13, you had the first 5 books of the Bible memorized for the most part, right? So even the regular average person knew the law. They had a firm foundation of the Torah, of the law. But then it says that are unlearned and unstable. So the way I explain to my kids, I have my son stand up on 2 feet. I said, all right, you're standing up, you're stable, right? And he's like, yeah. I said, okay, cool. I said, now stand on one leg. And as soon as he lifted up his other leg and stood on one leg, he was wobbling around, right? And he had to step back on 2. I said, now you're unstable when you're standing up on one leg, right? So we're talking about, understanding, being stable of the mind, being stable in your understanding, right? That's why you have the word stand in understanding. So they are unlearned and unstable. They are unstable because they are unlearned. But it says rest. This isn't taking a rest, taking a break. Rest actually, and I appreciate Professor S for even bringing this out. Rest actually means to pervert, to twist. So his epistles, his letters, speaks of some things that are hard to be understood, or they're hard to understand, which they that are unlearned and unstable. So if you don't know the Torah, you don't know the law, and you're unstable in your understanding, you twist or pervert the scriptures. Because he continues on, he says, as they do also the other scriptures, right? So you don't have a firm foundation, you're unstable in your understanding, and you pervert and twist the epistles, right? You're perverting and twisting his epistles, but you're also doing that to the other scriptures, right? And then unto your own destruction, or to their own destruction. And then Peter gives us a warning, and he says, ye therefore, beloved, seeing ye know these things before, beware lest ye also, being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness. So basically, he says, ye therefore, beloved, who is beloved? Beloved is all the people who was a follower of Messiah. So he's writing to the people during that time, but it also can be interpreted as him writing to us, because we are messianics. We believe in Messiah, right? So he's telling us, you've seen these things before. You know these things. Then he tells you beware. Whenever you see the word beware, that's a warning, right? You see the beware dog signs on the gates, even if they have a dog or not, but it's a warning to tell you, hey, you go in this yard, you're gonna get bit. Lest ye also, being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness. He's giving you a warning. And then he ends the chapter, he follows back up and just doubles down on the importance of our relationship with Messiah, learning about Messiah, growing in grace and in the knowledge of Messiah, basically. So this is the first one. The next one I wanted to show is Colossians 2:18. It says, let no man beguile you of your reward, and a voluntary humility in worshiping of angels, intruding into those things which he hath not seen, vainly puffed up by his fleshly mind. So basically, beguile means to trick you, right? Don't let them trick you of losing your reward. What is your reward? Your reward is that relationship with the Most High, the relationship with Messiah, following Messiah, salvation. And then in a voluntary humility and worshiping of angels. We just talked about earlier today, covering the video that was talking about Freemasonry and stuff. And you got all of these people that are being tricked into the worshiping of angels. Satan is an angel. Lucifer was originally an angel, right? And I mentioned earlier in my understanding this week of the scripture reading, to be more cognizant of the names that we use and what we speak, and not to call on any of these false ones, right? Because a lot of these false ones are, you can trace that back to some type of fallen angel or some type of false deity in some regard. So you got to be careful, right? And this, the brother that got exposed, he's talking about a lot of these types of things, and people they're eating it up. So you gotta be mindful, because he's so puffed up in his fleshly mind that he was so upset that he got exposed to the point where this man popping up at 2:30 in the morning trying to search some type of legal paper because he went on a podcast or platform and honest biblical scholarly questions was asked and somebody responded in kind and it exposed him, right? And this, you see this type of behavior in many different elders, right? From the Christian pastor pork chop, all the way to Pastor Dow. When these things happen and people get exposed for all of their dealings, they respond similar to like Brother Greg said. I mean, you think that there's a spirit on some of these people, and a lot of times it is. It's true, right? And then lastly, the last scripture I wanted to share that came to mind when thinking about this video and what was said is Matthew 7:15-20. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. Beware of false prophets. Okay. They come to you in sheep's clothing, meaning they're disguising themselves. They're showing you that they're righteous and that they're holy on the outside, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. They want to devour you. They want what you have. They want to control you, all of these different things. And then it says you should know them by their fruits. This is so powerful right here. If you have a question about somebody and are they legit, do they have a sincere heart, don't just listen to what they say or how they display themselves in the public eye. If you have the capacity to see them in person and to actually spend time with them, you will see the type of people that they are. And then you can also look at the type of people that they have following them, right? You'll see the fruit that they produce. Is the fruit good or is the fruit evil? If the fruit's evil, it don't matter how good that they present themselves. That should be a red flag to indicate that that is a person that you should not be following. That's why I say it again and again and again. It is so hard for me to willingly submit myself under anybody's authority because I look at the fruit. I look at the individual. Just because you made a video and in your video, it seemed like everything was doctrinally sound. It seemed like you know what you're talking about. It seemed like you a man. I got to examine everything that you got going on before I even consider something like that. And it ain't even coming from a place of arrogance or ego. I don't mind. I would gladly, be a protege or, take on a mentor or whatever the case may be. But I need to know that you are in alignment with my Father because I'm in alignment with my Father. And I'm trying to only be in alignment with what's in alignment with him. So look at their fruit. If it's good fruit, okay, that lets you know a little bit more about that individual. If it's evil fruit, walk away because it's like literal fruit. Like you ever open a pack of apples that went bad and they were all in the same bag together? You got the one apple that's all the way bad and the apples that's next to it that's touching it, only that side that's touching the apple is going bad. It like spreads, right? And the same thing in a spiritual sense. When you have a false teacher, somebody that's, teaching contrary to the word, teaching contrary to the Most High, and they're spreading lies, it just spreads and it just infects everybody that hears it. And if they believe in it, then they become it, and then they continue to spread it out. And you can literally from afar look at it and see like this individual got something going on, and all of these people, I'm seeing it, right? Like for example, we've talked about this on this channel before. Every time I've been approached by someone who is Torah only, it's always been in a very hostile manner, right? There was one, and I only want to call it an exception because it turned out real hostile, but there was one individual who seemed on the surface like they genuinely just wanted to share the information. They truly believe that the Old Testament only is the correct way and that the New Testament is completely false, wrong, fabrication, whatever the case may be. But then after they gave the information and they followed up, that's when everything came to pass. But outside of that one experience, everybody who I've seen that is Torah only, they are vulgar. Most of them are vulgar. They have a certain type of spirit on them. So I'm looking at the fruit. So if I'm looking at the doctrine of Torah only or Old Testament only, and that completely rejects the New Testament, but I'm seeing the fruit that it's producing, and all of these fruit seem, I ain't gonna say wicked, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like if I'm seeing the fruit and it's not being a reflection of the Father, why would I even consider looking, you know what I mean? Why would I even consider taking that on? You get what I'm saying? So just beware, just be careful out there, family. Sorry, Brother Greg, I know that you got.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah,
out.
my internet went out.
Yo, let's see. What you mean, Sister Ava? What did I say? I just now saw your comment. Why'd you cut off Brother Greg's internet? I didn't do that. Brother Greg got that ether over there. He got that good internet. But anybody got anything else? No, that's it.
I just want to say this is very good, very interesting. I love this, like conversating and going back to scripture with it and pointing out things. I love this. I love the way you put this together. Did it?
Absolutely.
And all the videos fell in a row where it was perfect, lined up perfect. Thank you.
All praises to the Most High.
All praises.
All praises.
Yeah.
But to make a long story short, to answer your question, sis, if there's anything pagan that you know is pagan and you don't want nothing to do with it, go ahead and get rid of it. If you spent your money and you want to get your money back and recoup some of it by selling it to a pawn shop, that's you can do that if you want to do that. If you want to throw it in the trash, you can. If you want to burn it, you can. All of those things is fine. Because people are going to do what people are going to do regardless. People are still going to buy crosses, chains. People are still going to get tattoos, do all of these different things. But that's the short little bit of it. But obviously, it's a whole lot more to it. But for time purposes, let's see. You and Alexa are a little too close. First, you spying on Cindy. Now this. No. Ain't nobody spying on nobody. I'm just joking. But yeah. But thank you for being here, family. I appreciate you guys. Everybody watching on YouTube or on Facebook. Continue to follow the page. YouTube, if you like the content, make sure you like, you share, you comment, and you subscribe to the channel. More people subscribe, the more this goes out to the algorithm and more people can get this information. And the more people that get this information, the more people can wake up and not have to deal with certain false teachers that are spreading things that are not biblically sound. So with that being said, family, may the Most High bless you, keep you, camp His angels around you, and give y'all peace. That is shalom in Messiah's name. Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom, y'all.
Shabbat shalom, family. Love you all.
Shabbat shalom. Love you all so much.
Shabbat shalom.
We about to turn up. Spider. Mishat. We about to give them that.
Peace, love, and lights. Peace, love, and lights. Peace, love, and lights. Peace, love, and lights. We gonna bless the trap with this peace, love, and lights. We gonna bless our people with this peace, love, and lights. Yes, change your life. Open your eyes. Do it fast. Don't be surprised. What this world is going through right now is getting evil. Gotta come together so we can fly like an eagle. Killing the snakes, let go of this fake system. Love is the key, stop living your life as the victim. Been blessed with everything that we need, take action, sickle. If you want peace, put down your peace, that's how we fix it. We in the book, not leaning on our own understanding. We getting hot, can't cool us down, no need for fanning. Been getting stepped on so long, we feeling like shoe soles. But as long as I got the body, I roll with true souls. Ain't nothing sweet, no need to check your glucose.
Too many trying to win, too many losses.
It's like a championship game, and you win it, and they ask you, how do you feel? Did you feel you? Yeah, I came in with my game plan, and I expected my game plan to work.
I'm dropping these philosophies that y'all should try adopting. Running from the law, no, running from the law, but you cross me.
Snakes in the grass, learn how to move or they rattle. Too many losses, be a light and you can prove it's a shadow.
When I pull up, right on time, come outside, I ain't your man, that's true enough.
2 times. Ooh, I'ma dive off the deep end. Ain't nothing but an Eastside party.